Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, and so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show. Booyah.
One win from the championship, baby. Boogie Roberts, the USFL's Pittsburgh Maulers.
From worst to first.
One win away from the title. Congratulations on the semifinal win this weekend, bro.
Appreciate
They
you.
had
Very
to
nice.
win. They had to win to get in. They won. They won their
It's
first.
been that way for 4 weeks.
And now they're a big underdog for the championship.
That doesn't bother you, does it?
It's okay.
Point dog.
It ain't no fun
You
when
better
the
not-
rabbit got the gun. Don't worry. It ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. Don't
It'll be
even worry.
fun. So you're playing the Birmingham Stallions, which they've had a great season.
Absolutely.
But you guys are getting hot at the right time. Big offensive production. 31-27 final.
Yeah, overtime game.
That kind of surprised me.
Yeah, it was a shootout, man. I had a mix of emotions, up and down roller coaster. We went up, we let them come down, kick a field goal, 27 seconds. It was just highs and lows, but we found a way to get it done. And the thing about that win is, in the beginning of the season, we were the worst red zone team. We were getting stopped on the 1 yard line, the 2 yard line so many times.
Yeah.
And for us to just keep pushing and need to get a touchdown on the 2 yard line to win the game was an amazing feeling. So I'm excited.
Yeah,
You're gonna have
very
to have
good.
surgery right at the end of the season.
No, but yeah, I had messed up my knee like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But you played.
I played, so we'll just get it cleaned up.
Doesn't hurt.
No, yeah, get it cleaned up after the season. Nothing gonna be better than holding up that trophy. So
Yeah,
it's
I
all
mean,
good, yeah.
you guys have done it before, knowing that they've got a ding or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But
A lot
it's
of
for the
people get stuff
championship.
cleaned up.
Push
yeah.
through for the title.
You got to play hurt, and that's what you're going to do. And congratulations to Boogie and to Pittsburgh. We don't usually root for Pittsburgh teams, but because it's the USFL, we're going to jump all in on the Maulers. Go ahead, McNuggets.
And listen, we love having Boogie here. This is Boogie's last show with
This
us
is it.
because afterwards he's going to go pursue whatever's next. Hopefully it's a long football career in the NFL, whether it's acting. But if you guys need to see an insight into who Boogie is as a person, we're going to bring you inside the Maulers locker room after Saturday's win for Boogie's postgame speech.
We have the speech.
We have the speech.
Let's see
Steve,
this.
take tag board.
Let's see
Let's
this
play
thing.
it.
Boogie's the team leader.
I told you at halftime, this wasn't gonna be the last time we broke this down. I told you when we came back in here, we was finna turn up and have a party. And I told him before we walked out of here, if y'all thought I came here to play around with y'all, well, God damn it all
Well done.
Nice.
Well done.
Firing up the troops.
There is a dog in that locker room.
I'm just glad my peers trust me and they follow behind me and I can lead the way.
So what you told them at halftime you're going to win the game?
I just told them at halftime this won't be, because I always speak before we go out, and I told them, like, this won't be the last time we break it down. Like, this means too much to me,
Yeah.
too much to you guys. When we come back in here, let's have a party. Let's have a celebration, because we've been through hell and back to get to this point.
Yeah.
Literally from worst to first. And we need people to embrace that mentality and that underdog mentality, and here we are.
Records don't mean anything. in
Absolutely.
title games.
Especially
All
not,
you know about
especially not right here. We've been in the playoffs these last 4 weeks, so
Yeah.
we're ready.
I think that helps you guys, too,
Yeah.
knowing that your back was against – you've been in a must-win for 4 straight weeks. And having that kind of pressure and seeing how you've reacted to it gives you the confidence to know that you can get it done when you absolutely have to.
And we had so many opportunities to fold, especially in this last game.
Yeah.
Our defense was giving up uncharacteristic big plays that we usually don't give up. They took some shots and they connected, and usually we don't give those plays up. And they went down and scored in 3 plays and left us when we were down 4, and we had with 1 minute and 40 seconds left. And I mean, the roller coaster that I was on, but to see our offense put together a drive, and they've been struggling all year for it to finally connect and gel at the perfect time.
It's nice.
The Stallions better watch out. I'll just let you know that.
I
How
love
was
to
the
hear
crowd?
that.
How was the crowd?
It was a very good crowd. They're expecting a huge crowd this week. They have this thing called Country Fest or something like that.
Yeah,
that was
right.
going on these last 2 weeks. So the Canton people are probably tired out and things like that. But
Yeah.
this next week they're expecting a big crowd.
We have tickets, in fact, for the
Well, we
title.
give away
game.
a lot
let's
of
give
them
let's give them away. Let's
8
give
of
them
them?
away.
We are giving
Let's
out
give them
4
away.
tickets each hour every day this week. So
Wow.
8 tickets a show. We're giving away 40 tickets.
Can I call
And
in
there
and get
are-
some tickets?
Yeah, of course.
Can I
probably
call?
gonna need 'em,
just-
won't you?
my-
We're gonna give
my
out
sec-
4
my
right
secret
now, by
voice.
the way.
Okay.
We're going to give out 4 right now. And it's going to be a little different each time, but here's how we're going to do it right now. 2 stipulations. We need your email, and you have to be able to get tickets via Ticketmaster. So if you fit those criteria, you could enter. Here's how you're going to do it. In the YouTube chat right now, the 4th person to put the word Boogie in the YouTube chat will get 4 tickets to the USFL Championship game. Whenever y'all start, Anthony and Earl are watching. The 4th person to put Boogie in the chat will receive 4 tickets to the USFL Championship game on Saturday.
Trying to get the tickets.
Everybody's going to wait.
He's 30 seconds ahead of everyone else, so Boogie, you better play this quickly.
He is literally dialing into the chat right now.
There you go.
I think you can get tickets if you need them, Boogie.
Well, the stadium's beautiful.
You're need a lot of them, aren't you?
We had a good time when we went a couple of weeks ago. Excellent hot pretzels there. Let's go.
I don't know if they're doing a $1 hot dog, $1 pretzel for the championship. You know they're trying to make that money.
Yeah, I kind of doubt it.
And the winner is JJ44.
Oh,
JJ, we're going to send you an email in a sec, and then we will get you hooked up via Ticketmaster with 4 tickets. We're giving out 4 more in the second hour and 32 more the rest of the week.
Awesome.
So there will be plenty of chances for you
So
guys.
there will be at least
tickets.
40 UCSS fans at the championship game rooting Boogie on. Let's go get this done. Let's get it done.
I need some
signs,
All
or
right,
something.
busy show. Guardians. 1 step forward, 2 steps back.
I'm a fan
it's
now.
really,
I'm beyond
really difficult.
frustrated.
I know you
with
are.
The big picture.
I saw your tweet.
Yeah.
And by the way, I think every Cleveland fan shares your frustration. It's very well warranted. There are some head scratchers going on with the organization.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that. I really want to get your take in on that. Also, we're going to have a discussion. This is the first hour because Boogie's here for the first hour. He's got to go after that. Earl's going to take a seat in the second hour. But later in the first hour, this is a question, and we want your opinion on this because you guys are big participants in this. Is loyalty in sports completely dead? We've got a lot of examples through the years. We've had some recently where team to player, player to team. There's some head-scratching moves. How Tom Brady got out of Tampa Bay, and I know that late in a player's career, we saw Joe Montana leave San Francisco for Kansas City. We're going to talk about that. Is loyalty in team sports dead? But we're going to start today with some comments that Gilbert Arenas made on the Cavs' second-round pick, their only pick in the NBA draft, Emoni Bates. I think we all on Friday were in agreement that we liked the pick. What do you lose? It's the 49th pick overall. Go find a 49th pick overall that has changed lives. Now, there have been second-round picks that have changed lives for sure. Tony Parker, Joker, clearly has changed lives. But you're talking it with 49. You're talking tail end of the draft. I mean, you're
almost impossible.
You're a few names from being an undrafted free agent.
That's right.
And so there's very, very few instances where someone that late in the draft just changed a team's life. Gilbert Arenas, though, thinks that this guy could be him. Play the bite.
Now, I want to give a shout out to Cleveland Cavaliers. Y'all done got a steal.
Got him.
Y'all done got a steal. Cleveland, stand up for real.
Who they get?
Got that Emoni Bates.
Who they get?
Ooh, they got Emoni?
It's funny, the reaction.
He goes on to say that he will be an immediate starter for the Cavs, and he asked, who's the other wings? And he goes, Akuro, who said his name wrong. Osman said his name wrong. Lamar Stevens, he goes, no, Emoni Bates is going to be the starter.
No, he's not.
It's a stretch, but at the same time, remember 4 years ago, this kid was on the cover of Sports Illustrated, and you were thinking that he was certainly going to be a lottery pick. So if the gun charge hadn't happened, and it did, you can't take that out of the mix. But if that hadn't happened, I don't know that anybody would be sitting here going, oh, this kid isn't going to start for the Cavs.
It's not like how often does a second-round rookie start for an NBA team?
You're right.
That's very rare,
but look at the situation he's coming into. To their point, who's going to win that spot?
I hear you, but there's proven NBA veterans. Like they may not be great players,
right?
But they've been in the league. They've had some level of success here. This guy, the hope to me is in a couple of years he could be a
project
factor.
for you.
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't like his game was that great in college. He didn't drop to 49 just because of the gun charge.
No, I think that's fair. I mean, but transferring didn't help him. Some issues here and there didn't help him. A lot of teams interviewed him, I'm told. And so they must not have.
But also, a lot of teams didn't even have him on the board.
Sure, some had him on there. Let's not even look at this.
Right.
Game. And that's the list you never want to be on.
Yeah.
But I think, Mikey, you want to get in here with something.
Yeah. So this whole topic, and we're gonna get into it, stemmed from something G. Bush had told us last week, and then Gilbert doubled down that he thinks Bates could be a starter and an immediate impact player for the Cavaliers this season. So we went on YouTube into our members-only post, and we asked the members here. Whenever we do that, it's brought to us by PCC Airfoils. And I want to read their answers because it led to this topic. But if you're looking for a job with career advancement and great benefits, PCC Airfoils is a leading manufacturer in Northeast Ohio. All locations of PCC Airfoils in Eastlake, Menor, Wickliffe, and Minerva are hiring for all positions starting at $18 and up, plus full benefit packages, paid time off, and a signing bonus. You can apply online at precast.com/careers to learn more. So G said he could be a starter and an immediate contributor. So I went out to our YouTube poll, our communities only tab, and said, hey guys, what do you think is a realistic expectation for Emoni Bates as a rookie? And I'm just going to read a couple answers real quick because they were all in line with what G thought and what Earl thought when I asked him this weekend. Earl said if he gets 10 points per game, that'd be great. Love Musel 2163 said 10 points, 6 rebounds, 42% field goal percentage. MG2211 said 9 points, 3 rebounds, 43% field goal percentage, and Killer Shot said 9 points, 4 rebounds, 40% from 3. So those don't seem crazy when you look at them on paper. But I went back.
That doesn't
Well,
seem
just in
crazy.
paper, in theory, 9 points, 4 rebounds. That's
Well,
not
the
like a
problem
game
I had,
changer.
so he shot 39% in the MAC, and he's going to shoot 42% in the NBA.
Well, that just sparks something in my head. I said, okay, let me go do a little research and see how many second-round picks ever put up numbers like that. So let's run through the last 7 draft
in their
classes.
rookie year.
As a rookie, correct.
Yeah, right.
And let's see how many guys, to answer the question of, can he make an immediate impact? Will he make an immediate impact? Let's see if the historical data says it's possible, it's unlikely, it's
and
realistic.
what did you look at, the last 8 years, second
I went
round?
back to 2017.
Okay.
So the last
that's 8 drafts?
8 drafts.
7 that have played.
7 that have played, exactly.
So that's
Okay, so you're talking about
210 players. Yeah. Right, give or take.
So let's start with this, though. Here are the last 5 49th overall picks.
Okay.
You had last year Isaiah Mobley in Cleveland, non-contributor. Marcus Zagorowski has never played a minute in the NBA.
I didn't even know he was in the NBA.
Isaiah Joe is a 11th, 12th guy in Philadelphia. He's had a couple good games in the NBA at the end of season when it's garbage time. Quindary Weatherspoon and Chimezie Metu both went to San Antonio. Neither has ever done anything in their careers. So just look at the last 5 49th picks. It's hard to have high expectations based on that. Now, this is not a knock on Emoni. This is just looking at historical data to see maybe what we can expect. So let's start with last year's second-round draft class. Steve, you take the next graphic here. I went through, and I think there was 2 impact rookies from this class. Do you guys know who's in that picture? Do you know who that's a picture of?
No.
That is Andrew Nebhart. He's the only rookie drafted in the second round last year that played over 1,000 minutes.
Wow.
I actually had him on my fantasy team briefly.
Now, you may think 1,000 minutes, oh, that's a lot of minutes. He ranked 148th in total minutes in the NBA last year. So it's really not a lot of minutes. He averaged 24 minutes a game. So one rookie from last year's second-round draft class averaged over 20-something minutes a game. 0 averaged 10 points per game. Only 4 averaged more than 5 points a game. 10 did not play a single minute in the NBA in their rookie season. So out of 30
that's a
picks,
third of the draft class last year in the second round.
Never made
touched
their
the
NBA
floor.
debut. Correct. And there was 2 guys. The other guy who was an impact player, in my opinion, was Jalen Hardy, in Dallas. He didn't play till the second half of the season. He averaged 7 points a game. A guy off the bench scored, but it's not like he made a giant impact. He didn't play. He only played 40 games. Let's go back to the year before, 2021. Also, only 2 impact players: Herb Jones in New Orleans and Ayo Dosunmu. I always say his last name wrong. Dosunmu in Chicago. He played at Illinois with
That looks like a
Kobe
picture
Cockburn.
from a pickup game at the YMCA.
That is Herb Jones, who's a really good defensive player, not an offensive player. No one in that class averaged 10 points as a rookie. No one currently in their careers through 2 seasons averages 10 points. Only 4 players in 2 seasons have broken into a real rotation. 5 second-round picks from 2021 have not made their debut. So in 2 seasons, a 6th of the picks in that class
still
have
haven't touched the NBA floor.
Still have not touched the floor. Correct. Let's go back to 2020.
Wow, Mike, how long did this take you? You must have
I spent a good amount of time.
Yeah.
But there's a real
Kudos
trend.
to you. It's great information.
There's a real trend you'll see as we get
I've already seen it.
further and further back. There's a real trend.
In other words,
here.
it's laughable to think this guy's going to average 10 points a game.
As a rookie.
Well,
Yeah, as a rookie.
it's implausible for sure. I'm curious to see when you go back a year, have some of these guys blossomed, or are they just washed out of the league?
That's what we're going to find out here as we keep going through. Let's go to 2020, Steve. There were three impact players in this class. You had Kenyon Martin Jr., Xavier Tillman, and Theo Maledon of Oklahoma City.
Okay.
None of those are stars.
No,
but three
but
guys who are solid rotation
Right.
pieces. Only one guy in this class currently averages more than 10 points a game for his career and more than 20 minutes. That's both Kenyon Martin Jr. He plays for a terrible Houston team.
Right.
He gets those stats and those minutes because
Someone's
got
gotta get him.
And
Exactly.
wasn't he a high second-round pick?
Yeah, he's a third pick of the second
Yeah,
round.
see, I think the distinction here,
Yeah.
you can make a real line of delineation halfway through the second round. There are guys that are taken in those first 15 picks, which would be 45 overall and up, 45 to 31. There are guys that you will find in that category that will be contributors. But that second half of the second round, it's almost anonymity.
Especially part of the reason is it's a later pick, but also part of it is most of the guys drafted in the first 10, 15 picks in the second round are drafted to bad teams.
Sure.
So they're also more likely to get an opportunity.
The last 10. So the last 10 have what? Losing records, missed the playoffs.
Usually in rebuilds in today's day and age of the NBA.
Yeah, they need help for sure. Those are the first 10 picks of the second round.
Right.
Yes.
The last 10 picks of the second round are your winner, your final 8 teams.
Yeah, that's right.
You're not making
Those
that
guys are not
team.
playing.
As a late second round pick, you're just not
And a
making
lot
that
of those
team.
picks are draft and stashed European guys who never make it.
Exactly.
And that happens. But here's where it starts to trend in a little different. Here's where I saw the first change. Let's go to 2019. There were 7 impact players drafted in the second round of this class.
You are using the word impact loosely, though, Mike.
And loosely, yeah. And that's
I mean, if they didn't
my
average 10 points a
interpretation.
game, how impactful could they have been?
Well, like Nick Claxton
A
averages.
piece off the bench.
We're
Like
comparing the rookie year, though, right?
Yeah,
When he says impactful, I think he's saying just for
No,
as
I'm
a
saying
rookie,
now have
right?
developed
He's saying
at this point.
4 years out.
Yeah, at this point from 2019, there are 7 guys from the second round who have become impactful
Oh,
players.
so he's
I see.
He's impactful now.
And I'm willing to
Impactful
bet
now.
that those
Correct.
7 impact players from 19 were all taken 31 to 45.
I'd have to double check.
I know you'd have to
that.
double check,
No,
but-
Jalen McDaniels was the 53rd pick, and he's
Wow.
on this. But
Okay.
He's a
these
good
are guys
player.
like Nick Claxton, Cody Martin, Bull, Taylor Horton-Tucker, Terrence Mann, who does play for the Clippers in their rotation, Jalen McDaniels, who was just traded to the 76ers. All those guys
Those are all
solid
solid
rotational
pieces.
pieces.
But Mike,
Yeah.
All those guys are solid.
those guys, 0 average 10 points per game for their careers, period,
Careers.
or just
Yep.
like.
Careers.
For a single season.
So none of these guys in all these years, did any of them, what was the most any of them averaged in their rookie year points per game?
I'd have to go back. Here, give me 1 second. Pull it up.
I don't think any of these guys averaged 10 points per game in their rookie year, did they?
No, and none of them currently average 10 points per game for
So,
their entire NBA
There's
careers.
the odds that this guy, so for 8 years, not a single guy has averaged 10 points per game as a rookie drafted in the second round.
We're getting there, Bull. Don't
Were
worry.
the
any,
Cavs
of these,
are a
were
pretty
any of
good-
these guys supposed to be scorers? Like
sure they
like
were.
Emoni?
Well, Emoni Bates is supposed to be a scorer.
But there
I know
is
he is, but I'm
Yeah,
saying
Taylor
any of
Horton-Tucker
around
was.
him though. Like I know he went 49th, but it was due to some circumstances.
none of them were number one coming out of high school.
No,
on the
none
cover
of them were
none
Emoni
of them,
Bates,
so- I
two-time
know that doesn't
National
mean-
High School
I see,
Player
but
of the
To
Year.
me, it just
That
doesn't mean anything at this
okay.
point.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it
He
happened.
wouldn't have gone if they were wrong coming out of high school. They got it wrong about him.
But he went to Memphis. He went to a good basketball
I
school.
hear you, but obviously he showed you nothing in college. Nobody drops the 49 just based on a gun charge. Nobody drops that low based on a gun charge.
Two
only.
things real quick. For context, Brandon Miller, who just went second, was involved. He's not charged with anything, but was involved in a literal murder at Alabama.
Yeah,
this year.
exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
And
Yeah.
they didn't care because he's a great player.
I got 2 more things to show you guys, then I'm going to give you my conclusion, and I'll pass it back. You guys take it. 2018, we got our first star. You have to go all the way back to 2018 to find a star in the second round. That's Jalen Brunson, who did not average 10 points per game as a rookie, is now an all-NBA caliber performer. There's 7 other guys from that class who turned out to be very solid NBA players. You have Mitchell Robinson, Devontae Graham, Bruce Brown, DeAnthony Melton, Shake Milton, Jared Vanderbilt, and Gary Trent Jr. 3 players in that class for their careers now average more than 10 points per game. 8 average 20 minutes, meaning they've turned into rotational players. 3 never made their debut. You mentioned rookies averaging 10 points per game that were drafted in the second round. Steve, take the next one. Going back to 2016, only 3 rookies drafted in the second round have ever averaged more than 10 points a game. That was Eric Paschal in 2019. He averaged 14. Malcolm Brogdon, the year he won Rookie of the Year, averaged 10.3. And Theo Maledon averaged 10.2 in 2020. That's it. Over 240 players, 3 second-round picks going back to 2015 have averaged 20. So in conclusion,
yes,
take it, Steve. Second-round NBA draft picks have a low hit rate, take time to develop, so be patient with Bates. It is unrealistic, based on the last 8 years of data, to think he can come in and contribute immediately. Could it happen? Absolutely.
The odds of him
but the
averaging,
odds do not stack up in his favor.
The odds of him averaging 10 points. Sorry, Mike. The odds of him averaging 10 points a game as a rookie. I mean, maybe 3-4 years from now, he'll become a good player.
Right.
But the odds of him being averaging 10 points a game as a rookie has to be like 10,000 to 1, maybe even greater than that.
It's a long shot. I don't know if I'd say 10,000 to 1. If you give me 10,000 to 1 odds, I'll say he's going to do it because it's a flyer. But here's the thing about it, Bull, and I'm with you. But I think if they get 6 points a game out of this guy,
that's great.
It's a win.
A total win.
It is because I think the question on our rundown this morning was, what are your realistic expectations? I think that is realistic, and here's why. In this lineup, he is what they need. Would you agree?
I mean, there's some potential there.
Well, if you look at like what he is, like who is he? If you talk about the player that he is, it does fit the definition of the player they need. They need a wing.
Right, but we don't know if he's good enough to be a wing in the NBA.
We don't know.
But yes, they need a wing.
The guy,
yes, right.
But what we know
they need
is
his position.
What his definition of a player is.
Right.
Like if I were to tell you, Bull, in a vacuum, please put that back up, Steve. I want to play off that.
Yeah.
If I were to tell you in a vacuum, minus the name, we're going to scrub the name. I'm going to tell you that the Cavaliers, and I'm not going to tell you that they drafted for him or they traded for him or how they got him.
Gotcha.
But the Cavaliers' lone pickup on draft night is a 6'9", 190-pound wing who is a 2-time high school national player of the year, a former #1 high school recruit. What would you say?
Sounds good. I'd be excited about it.
Sounds good. And that's why I'm with you. He's not going to average 10 a game.
Yeah.
But I do think that what he has, what he brings, is what this team needs. Now, can he step up and fill that bill? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. What do you think? You're a big basketball fan. It's a risk, but a low risk and a high reward.
Low risk, high reward. I would say if he comes in and, like you said, he's the player that the Cavaliers need, and he can hit open shots and spread the floor and give D. Mitch more room, who's to say he doesn't start to steal minutes from some of those other guys? And that's when that 10 points per game opportunity starts to arise. So I'll give it a little bit of time. I just don't want Cavs fans to – all the stuff you name is the reason why I think Cavs fans are going to have too high of expectations too fast and not give them the chance to develop and expect instant results.
Don't expect.
There should be no expectations.
There should be no expectations.
I agree with you. Scrub the expectation.
But I know this fan base and they're eager right now.
Yeah.
And they're hungry. They're on the edge of their seats for anything, any little excitement. Look how excited we're getting over a 49th overall pick. So I know the expectations are going to be high.
Yeah.
But
you've learned this fan base.
I've learned them.
I
see how they turn on people, and I see how excited they get when they're rabid.
By the way, forget 10 points a game. If he averages 10 minutes a game, that's a win.
I would say that's a win.
If he averages 10 minutes, forget the points.
But here's the thing, Bull. I think he's going to get real opportunity.
Yeah. Who minutes do you think he steals?
Well, I think it's going to be a combination. I still don't think they have their step-up wing. I don't. I mean, we keep saying, we saw stretches last year where it was this one or that one. We're like, hey, he's turned the corner. Bullshit.
No.
Nobody turned the corner.
No.
No,
there's opportunity.
They had a stretch of nice games.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Okoro is not that guy. He's not going to be the guy that answers all these questions.
No.
He's proven that.
There's an opportunity for him because they don't have a great guy at that
And that's
spot.
why I think he'll get minutes.
But
he'll get an opportunity early.
Clearly, he's very immature, has a lot of growing up to do. If he can do that, he'll get it. JB's not going to play him. They're a team that is, we may not care, at least I may not care about the regular season next year. If they don't make any significant changes, the regular season means nothing to me. I'll see you in the playoffs.
Sure.
But he does, and he's not going to play this guy if he doesn't think he's ready to play in an NBA game.
Yeah.
Earl wants to hop in here. What's up,
Go
Earl?
ahead.
All right, so this was the text exchange between me and Mike. This is what I said. I said the first goal should just be making a roster. If he plays 10 minutes a game and scores 10 a game, that's going above expectations. I see his potential, but I'm cautiously optimistic. To me, I feel like there's an opportunity for him to get real playing time simply because even though he's immature, he's already there's things that he can do that Isaac Okoro, Cedi Osman, Dean Wade, and Lamar Stevens just can't do.
But we don't know that he can do any of those things in the NBA, Earl. We don't know.
We don't know
he's
that.
He's
But
so
we don't know
raw.
that about
I mean,
any
he's playing at a low.
He's
playing in the MAC. He was just playing in the MAC. To think he's going to get significant minutes on a team that finished in the top 4 in the East. We may be down on them because of how the playoffs went. They still finished 4th in the East. The idea that this, what is he, 19, 20?
19, I think.
Some 19-year-old kid drafted 49th who was playing in the MAC last year, who's been in trouble off the court, is all of a sudden going to play a lot of minutes. I don't see it. Maybe second half of the year.
You don't like the MAC? Into the mix that Boogie.
I'm down with the MAC, but
you don't like the MAC.
That's a big step from the MAC to the NBA.
But a lot of players have to take
a
lot of players have to take
Antonio
big steps.
Daniels had a great NBA career.
But again,
a lot of guys
I'm not saying he won't have a good career at some point.
Right.
I'm saying to expect too much as a rookie is crazy.
That's fair.
Yeah.
But I will say this, and I want you to weigh in on this. I want everybody here on this panel and everybody watching, close your eyes and reimagine your 19-year-old body.
I wish.
For context, Bull, you're funny. For context, I'm 195 pounds right now. At 19, I was 160 pounds.
Well, that's not a huge difference.
No, but I mean, if I were to show you a picture of myself at 19, I was a tall McNuggets. That's what I looked like. This kid clearly hasn't grown into his man body. His biceps look like the size of someone's cat. I mean, his biceps, I'm afraid for him. Like the NBA can be a physical game at his size and position. And
he's going to get bullied. I mean, big time.
Well, I think physically you're right. But I also think it's realistic to expect as he develops into his man body and gets chestier and more upper body, who knows? We don't know what a 19-year-old develops to at 22.
Right.
Everybody's different. Everybody.
Sure.
When it comes to conferences, I will give you that.
Yeah.
Him going to the MAC as opposed to an SEC school or ACC school, the training regimen and the things that these players have available to them is so different.
It is.
So now he's going to the best of the best, and I'm sure he knows he needs to get in the weight room and get stronger if he wants to contend and be able to play at an NBA level.
Yeah, I think realistically, I know that the 10 points per game is not even optimistic. It is wildly optimistic.
Right.
Plausible, but highly doubtful.
Yeah.
I think if we set this kid's realistic expectations between 6 to 10 minutes and 4 to 6 points per game, because he might have games where you don't even see him.
Right.
You know,
especially early in the season. I can't imagine him playing much early.
I can't either.
But if he averages 6 to 10 minutes and 4 to 6 points, to me that's a win. Out of the 49th pick, that's
Mikey,
a win.
when does the summer league start? Next month?
In July.
Yeah,
early July.
So we're maybe a week or two away from the start of the summer league.
I'll tell you the first summer league game.
I flush the summer league. I don't even think about it. Right. I don't care about it. I don't want to watch it. Don't tell me that someone's averaging 35 points a game in the summer league.
But you want to see this guy.
But I want to see him.
July 7th is the first Cavaliers summer league
July
game.
7th?
Okay.
8:30
2 weeks away.
Friday night against Brooklyn.
That's less than 2 weeks.
11 days
So
away.
if he has an amazing summer league, will you change your expectations?
Yes.
What if he
I
goes?
will not.
But it's got.
Will you give him any more
He
minutes?
said
twice?
amazing, Bull. So here's what amazing.
He wins
would
summer
be.
league MVP. the best
Amazing
player
to
in
me.
the-
That's what amazing to me would be.
Yeah.
The Cavs win the title. He averages 25 points per game. He proves that he can play with all of these. These are his
peers.
Do the best rookies play there?
Often no.
Say it again,
Right?
Bull.
The top rookies will not
rookies don't
play,
play,
No,
right?
all the rookies
They
play.
do?
They do. No, in the summer league they
Has there
do.
been a case where in the summer league that like the number 1, number 2, number 3 picks said no, I'm not going?
No, they typically play unless they're hurt.
they?
Wemby-
Mike,
Okay.
what would you
Wemby
say the
makes-
percentage chances of Emoni Bates being the MVP of the summer league?
To be honest with you, he has the game that translates to summer league because no one plays defense in summer league.
Yeah.
So there's a chance if he catches fire for a couple weeks or a couple days, there's a chance that he has the skill set and the shot-making ability at 6'9" against a lot of guys who don't have that size. Think about it. Summer League has first 2-round picks, guys who want to come back who were rookies last year,
right,
and a bunch of guys dying to make a G League roster.
Sure.
So talent-wise, he should be one of the more talented guys in the Summer League.
I think we'll learn something. I'm not going to change my overall point on the horizon for him. I'm not going to say if he is the MVP that now I expect him to average 12 a game and be a major contributor.
Yeah.
But I think if he performs on the higher end and is in
You'll
the
be more excited.
18 to 20 point per game range, it will certainly add to the intrigue and my interest in him.
Yeah, maybe I'm just drinking the Kool-Aid because I think I'm kind of high on him just because I know there's talent there.
Yeah.
And situations matter and circumstances matter. And unfortunately, he made a mistake and then he transferred and then his teammates might have been as good as he would have played with at Memphis, which would increase his value. So a lot of things go into it. So I'm excited to see him. You know, I'm just glad he's getting the opportunity. He didn't ruin his life. He has the means to make things better right now on this road to glory. So I'm excited to see what he can do.
I don't think any of us think he's got no chance. I think he's got a chance long term.
Right.
You're saying right now.
For a 49th pick, usually I wouldn't care at all.
I wouldn't either.
There's enough there that you think, hey, if this guy grows up, does the right things, works his ass off, there's potential that he could be a player.
Yeah.
But as a rookie, you just can't expect
on the grows up point.
Yeah.
Boogie, and I think we'll move off after this question.
Yeah.
You played with guys in college that at 19 years old were where he is. A lot of talent, a lot of potential, but had some issues in the past, maybe gun issues, whatever. Of the players that you've seen in your career come through at 19 years old and have that mix, what's the percentage of them that got it together, and what are the percentages of them that just never saw the light and lost this opportunity?
I would say 40% got it together, 60% lost it.
Okay.
And that's depending on a lot of things. Some people aren't given that second opportunity based on talent.
Right.
Because a lot of people, there's a saying, talent will keep you around as long as your production matches it. The moment your production doesn't match the character and the problems you're bringing to a team, you're gone. So I've seen the 40% of guys who are super talented, coaches keep them around because coaches want to keep their jobs and the university wants to win games. And the other 60 who might have had talent but didn't unlock it yet didn't get that opportunity because coaches just washed their hands with them or the mistake they made were too big. So I would go 40-60.
Okay.
Don't you think the people they surround themselves with play a big factor in that too?
That's a good point.
If you're like, hey, I got to find a mentor, or I got to I'm going to go. If he goes to the Cavs and says, I'm going to go hang with Jared Allen. That's my new guy now. I'm going to just hang with him every day.
Cavs would be
or
fortunate.
whoever. I'm going to hang with Jetty, or I'm going to hang with whoever is going to be a good influence.
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
Because in that vein, the Cavs might be the best place for this kid.
Right. For all our complaints about them being soft, which they need to work on.
Right. They're character guys.
It's a high-character team.
Jason said, when he travels with this team, they're all reading books this thick.
Right.
They're not going to the club. They're staying in their room and finishing their book so they can start their next one. That's the kind of guys you want.
He needs a little nerd time, like he does. He does need some nerd time.
They have
that'd be good.
A good group of guys over there, and you can say that if they weren't playing basketball and they were just in other professions, they're just good guys.
Yeah.
No matter
what
succeed. No matter what profession you put guys that are on the Cavs roster in, they're going to be good. So
that's a good point.
It's a good situation for him to go into.
By the way, real quick before we move on to the next topic, have you guys, especially you, Jay, because you played it, have you watched any of the college baseball World Series?
I have. It's been unbelievable.
Oh, yes.
It's been one of the best that I can remember.
I've watched more of it this year than I think I ever have.
It's been compelling baseball.
Yesterday's game, though, was crazy. It was like 24-4.
Unbelievable.
But, man, there is some high – that LSU Florida yesterday had the day, but both these teams.
Yeah.
We'll just talk about it for a minute.
How about the 17 strikeout performance on?
Yeah, by their number 2 starter. Because their top starter, Skeens, is going to be the first pick in the draft or the second pick in the draft, whatever. But the LSU.
I think that's a record, isn't it, for the College World Series?
Yes. LSU, man, their whole lineup, those guys are massive.
Huge.
That one third baseman with the home run, the guy's only a sophomore.
Pelosi?
No, that's the
senior. That's the senior. But
the second baseman's got like the Justin Turner hair, and he looks like he's 30.
I know.
And he's only a sophomore.
I know, it's crazy.
SEC baseball is like AA, AAA baseball.
Well, we're seeing it now. I mean, we're seeing that with Florida and LSU.
Yeah, the top picks that come out of college now, they could be in the big leagues in a year or two. It's happening. We're seeing there's already been a few guys from the 21 draft that are in the big leagues, like 3 or 4 guys.
Crazy.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to talk about the Guardians in just a little bit. And you'll want to pop some popcorn because Bull's going to put on a show. I promise you that. If your rant lives up to your tweets, it's going to be and listen, I can't disagree with anything you said.
Wow.
I mean, I can't.
Well, you and I agree on the Guardians more than anything else.
I think you're right. We do.
You know.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
In the meantime, this is a fantastic topic that we were going to have in the show Friday. Loyalty in sports. Does it even exist? And there are a million examples. I know, McNuggets, you put some in, Marcus Smart trade, Rudy Gobert, Donovan Mitchell for that matter. This was a playoff team dismantled. Now, from the player to the team, everybody's questioning, well, is Mitchell committed to the Cavs? He's talking about he wants to go home to his hometown New York Knicks. There's a lot of speculation about that. Tom Brady was, could have ran for mayor of Boston or senator of Massachusetts and won. Now I'm not sure if they even let him back in the state. He decided he was going to go to Tampa Bay. One example I'm glad you put this on the list because this one was one that Browns fans can relate to. The Browns released Joe Hayden, clearly had a lot of football left.
Huge mistake.
They missed on that big time.
Yeah.
And I was upset when I saw it, but it made sense later, and I talked to Joe about this, and I understand his logic. When Joe Hayden was cut by the Browns, where did he go? He went to the Steelers. Could have gone somewhere else, went to the Steelers. So is loyalty in sports, professional sports in particular, and we're starting to see in college sports too, but is loyalty in pro sports dead?
Ooh. I would say it's a case-by-case basis. It's just not cut and dry yes and no. In some cases, I feel like it's the media's fault. We put so much pressures on these guys with this ring culture, and you didn't have a great career if you didn't win a ring. So it puts,
especially in basketball.
Yeah. So
you better go add one to your
so it
resume.
puts pressure on players that I'm not winning a ring here. They won't view me as a top yada yada player. Let me jump to another team that may have a star over there, but then I get a ring and now I'm content. Everything is good. As opposed to guys like Kobe, he was just going to stick it out. But even in Kobe's cases, he was upset at one point. I know you're at ESPN when he wanted to go when they weren't winning. So I would say it's a case-by-case basis because look at Damian Lillard. We're getting on him now at this point, how the narrative has kind of changed. At first, we praised him for saying he's loyal to Portland, he wants to win.
Right.
And now is Dame a top 75 player because he doesn't have a championship?
Sure.
So it's kind of which one is
We
it?
did the same to Russell Westbrook with OKC.
I'll give you an example right here. There was, not in Cleveland, but there were some people across the country saying, well, why did Joe Thomas not want to go play with Peyton Manning for a Super Bowl?
True.
Why did he stay in Cleveland?
Yeah.
So you're damned either way, right? You made a great point. Usually when people blame the media, I roll my eyes.
Yeah.
I do think the media plays a role in the NBA, no doubt.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, like right now, James Harden, you're a loser.
Yeah, you don't have that
You're a
piece.
loser. You don't have a championship. And who's going to get crushed right now is Embiid, right? Embiid.
Yeah, sure.
Because Giannis won his MVP and then won a championship. Jokic won 2 MVPs, won his championship. Embiid won an MVP. Now he's got to win a championship. So there is a lot of that pressure there. But I wouldn't say it's dead. I would say it's dying, right? Because I think Jose Ramirez signing with Cleveland, that was loyalty.
That was my example.
He showed great he could have made easily $100 million more, if not more, on the open market.
Yeah.
So he showed some loyalty there. There's no doubt. Why else would he have done it? I mean,
right.
But it's few and the teams show almost no loyalty to players. I feel like as fans, we're more critical of the players.
I agree with that.
Not showing loyalty than we are the teams.
We don't hold the teams responsible enough.
No.
But we'll blame the player all day long.
All the time.
Albert Bell can't come back to Cleveland. When they put him in the Hall of Fame, he wasn't there.
Yeah.
Because he was afraid of the reaction he was going to get because he was the one that decided he was going to leave.
Right.
But in truth, him leaving was precipitated by the team saying, we're not going to pay you.
Right.
But fans forget about that.
Yeah, it's strange that way it works. Where fans were mad at Tomey, right? You brought him back,
Sure.
but you were mad at Tomey. It's a little different with when LeBron left. That wasn't about money. That was just he wanted to go somewhere else. But ultimately, there's very little loyalty in sports.
Yeah.
It's big business. It's big business for the players. It's big business for the owners. And that's why I say as a fan, you don't owe your like when you're a fan of a team, it's in your DNA, right?
Yeah.
It's in your blood. You can't just stop. If you're mad at the Browns or I'm screaming about the guard, you can't just stop rooting for the team. It's in your DNA. However, you don't owe the team paying money for tickets and all that stuff. And that's the stuff you can pull back on if you feel like the team is not committed to you as a fan or the team to winning.
You went, this is crazy, but you went exactly where I was going.
Oh.
So I had it a step further. You say it's not dead, but it's
one counterpoint to that.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
I will say it's dying more. It's basically dead in football, and it's dying in basketball.
Yeah. Right.
It's dying in basketball because the team has more power and get to give the player more money and more incentive to stay. They can offer more guarantee money,
right,
rather than them hitting the market and going to another team.
And many of them still hit the market.
As opposed to football, the advancement of the game and how good these guys are early. These rookies are so good coming in that teams are hesitant to play vets when they can let them go and just feel like they can draft a player at certain positions and plug and play.
That is an interesting distinction.
So I would say it's dead in football because guys know that they can get replaced with rookies quicker, so they want to get their money, and that if that causes for them to leave. And the lifespan of a football player is much shorter than it is as a basketball player.
That's true. No, it's a great distinction.
So I'm going to go get my money, whoever's offering it, because I don't know how much longer I have to play, and it's not guaranteed.
Great point.
As opposed
just by
to
the
basketball.
setup and the nature of the sport,
so
your career length is far less. So obviously players are trying to get the money while they can when they're in that window. So that's a great point. I was going to say not that it's dying. I think it's on life support. And I think I'm going to generalize here because I think you can make a case for each different sport that it's in a different spot. But in general, there is very little loyalty team to player, and there is very little loyalty player to team. Exceptions, of course. You mentioned Ramirez could have made 90 to 150 million with some of the estimates that he left on the table.
Right.
Why? I like it here. I feel comfortable here. Joe Thomas. I mean, if I'm Cleveland or if I'm a Cleveland GM, Jose Ramirez and Joe Thomas are my text cases for how I try to get players to stay here. You know what I tell both of them? They're both Hall of Fame. I mean, I think Jose Ramirez is on a Hall of Fame track.
Yeah, sure.
Clearly, Joe goes in next month or late this month, late in July. I think what you tell them is Cleveland gets a bad rap nationally, but we had an overall #1 pick come here and tell the best player in football at the time who was recruiting him to come with him to win a Super Bowl, no, I'm going to stay in Cleveland. I owe it to them. They've been great to me.
Right. And it's not like Joe was from here originally.
No, he was from Wisconsin. I mean, Midwest sensibilities.
Right, but still.
And then with Jose Ramirez, even far different. You know, he comes from a foreign country. Cleveland, Ohio meant nothing to him growing up. He didn't even know where it was on the map. He likes it so much here that he sacrificed perhaps 9 figures to stay here in Cleveland.
Yeah.
So I think the selling points are there, but you're still going to see players. Bieber, you know, if he wanted to, Shane Bieber could go to the Guardians right now and say, you know what, I want to stay. Let's do a deal. Give me your best number. What is it? Let's negotiate. He doesn't want that.
Right.
He wants to get the most amount of money that he can. So he's going to leave. So I think the loyalty, but there is still loyalty in sports, and you touched on it. The loyalty in sports is fan to team. And I won't even say fan to player.
No.
Because it's not. We've learned we got to root for this.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth.
It used to be we used for this because that never changes. Well, that changed, and it cost them some fans.
Yeah.
But in general, the loyalty in sports is one-sided. It's from the fan to the team. And that team can pour acid on us. They can kick us in the groin. They can sucker punch us in the face. They can leave us at the altar. They can physically and emotionally abuse us. All of these obviously are characterizations. But at the end of the day, always remember this, that Cleveland fans threw a parade when the Browns went 0-16. That is some kind of sick, blind loyalty. And look, I'm not speaking, I own it too. I think a person with real sensibilities knows that, you know, the baby analogy is you put your hand on the oven, stove a couple times, and that's the last time you do that because you get burned and you don't go back. Our hands are scar tissue.
There's no skin left.
There's nothing left. We're just all burned scar tissue.
Right.
We keep coming back and say, thank you, sir, may I have another?
Not only do we come back, but there's a percentage of our fan base that if we're critical of the team, will get mad at us.
Which is the part of our fan base that I'll never understand, Bull. If we speak what we think is our truth,
right,
we're haters. We want the Browns to lose. Fact, no matter how much I want the Browns to win, it hasn't worked yet. It doesn't impact what they do on the field.
Nope.
When we're critical, understand that it's coming from a good place. When we're critical, we're trying to point out things that we see are deficiencies. Why? We hope the team hears the collective voice and makes the appropriate changes. But it's that 25% of our fan base that voted Haslam as the best owner in Cleveland. Bull, that will forever trip me out. I don't think you were here that day. We did a YouTube poll.
Yeah.
And 50% of Cleveland fans said that Gilbert is the best owner. Well, I can understand that. He's spent the most money. He's won a championship.
Right.
Despite the fact that the Indians and Guardians are playoff staples, went to the 7th game of the World Series and lost twice in the last 30 years in extra innings both times, and it consistently is near the top of its division. Dolan got the same amount of votes as Haslam got, who's played in 2 playoff games and won 1, and gave us an 0-16 and 0-15.
Yeah.
They both got 25% of the vote.
And I got a beef with Dolan, but to say that Jimmy Haslam's better owner than Dolan is insane.
And that's the part
insane.
that brings me to my loyalty point.
Yeah.
We've got 25% of the Cleveland sports fans that will argue that the football owner is the best owner in town. That is blind loyalty. And by the way, because that fan base is so strong, we can never hold his feet to the fire. Because you know what he says in his office when he laughs? See you in September.
Right.
You're coming back.
By the way, that 25% is picking the Browns to go 13-4 this year.
1,000%. And probably a fraction of those are picking them to win the Super Bowl.
Yes.
To your point, Jay, about it being one-sided, that's so true. Because look at Marcus Smart situation.
Yeah.
A guy that gave us all and bled green and white. There's been times teams trade guys when they're on the bench. Teams trade guys when they're warming up. Teams send guys home so they can find the best offer available to make the team better. And then they hide it as saying, we're just trying to make the team better and improve our roster. That's how they sell it to the fan base.
Sure.
But when the player leaves and tries to go get the most money, then
selfish.
the player is selfish.
Yeah.
Now you're ruining our team. You don't care about the fans. You never loved us.
Yeah.
How could you do this to us fans after we've supported whoever, Joe Smo, for X amount of years? But when the team does it, it's okay because they're trying to make the team better. So that's where the loyalty is one-sided from the fans to the organization, which is not fair. And athletes get that, and they're like, well, we're just going to get our money now. You're not going to – we're damned if we do, damned if we don't anyway.
Yeah, so hate me but pay me.
Yeah, hate me but pay me because I have my own family and things like that to take care of.
Absolutely.
I also think in terms of that relationship between – it's a little off topic, but the relationship between the fan and the player has changed over the years. It's much harder to get an autograph from a player.
True.
Especially without paying for it. And I don't – listen, to me – adults asking for autographs is a little weird.
It's silly.
But the players should always sign for the kids.
Yeah.
Always, without exception.
I agree.
And a lot of players won't. You know, at training camp, they kind of have to sometimes. But when I was a kid, Jay, when you were a kid, you'd go to a Cleveland Indians game. All right? Wasn't a lot of people there when you were a kid.
No.
All right? You could walk up to the first row, stand by the field, and players would sign autographs for you before the game, right?
I've got autograph books filled with names.
I'd go to Shea Stadium, Yankee Stadium, Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. I'd walk up to the front, even if I didn't have good tickets, because I was not usually sitting near the first row.
And the ticket taker would let you do
let
that
you
during
go.
batting practice.
They'd sign autographs. You could watch batting practice.
To me, that was more fun than the game bowl.
Now that rarely ever, way more fun. That was amazing.
Yeah, if I was going to a game, my dad knew that, okay, if it's a 1 o'clock game, we've got to leave Sandusky at 10.
Right.
I want to walk in at 11. I want to watch both teams take BP.
That's right.
I might want to get Rod Cruz' autograph because the Twins are in.
And it didn't matter how good the player was.
No.
They'd sign autographs.
Yeah, and it made a difference. It built a generation of fans. By the way, the fans that stood in those lines are the hardcore baseball fans today.
That's right, and that's part of the reason you've lost fans, right? What was amazing I want to say about 15 years ago, I was at Wrigley Field. The Phillies had played the Cubs. And after the game, I get on the L in Chicago, and Jimmy Rollins was on the train with us. And I walked up to him, and I chatted, and nobody was talking to him. And I walked up to him, and I was chatting with him for a couple minutes. He was very nice, very fun. I'm like, I can't believe you're on the train.
What was he doing on the train?
He just didn't want to ride the team bus. He wanted to be on the train like a normal person. And I was like, players, he's like, yeah, nobody else will ever do it. I was
That's
like,
interesting.
It was amazing.
But that's the kind of guy Jimmy is, too.
I mean,
very
so
affable.
down to earth. But it's so rare now. Like,
It is.
and I get it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not killing players for that. Like, it's dangerous to be a player now.
Well, you know, with the screens up now, can you even fit an autograph
I don't even. Yeah.
ball? You can't.
Not a ball. You'd have like a piece of paper maybe. You could put through
I
there.
mean, there's now a physical barrier between the fans.
It's unfortunate.
I hate it.
Yeah.
I'll tell the story quickly because it shows the times that we're in now compared to where we were.
Yeah.
In the late, it had to be the early 80s because I think Hargrove was here in 81 as a player. I had an autograph book that had a little gold zipper around it, and I would take it to games and I would get players to sign it. Mm-hmm. And I had a pen sticking in the hole where the zipper came to, and I was holding it by the pen, and the book slipped down, and it fell down into the old photo wells, which were next to the dugouts at Old Municipal Stadium.
Yeah.
And I saw it, and I'm like, oh, my God, it's gone forever.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way I can get down there. Mike Hargrove saw it drop, never said anything to me, jumped over the fence, climbed down in the photo well, grabbed it. Here you go, kid.
Yeah, that's
And
awesome.
I've told him that story a couple of times, and he goes, yeah, obviously I don't remember that, but that's something that I would have done.
Right.
Like, I don't know. I'd like to think there are a lot of players that would still do something like that today.
There are some, sure.
Yeah, I remember when I was lucky enough to have seats for the field boxes, of all the players, and this includes visitors and home, Frankie Lindor was the most fan-friendly player I have ever seen in my life. He would make sure that every young kid that was in that field suite got a ball before the game was over.
Yeah.
And he would get one on a foul ball or whatever when he was in the on-deck circle, and he'd say, who doesn't have one? And he would throw it to the
that's
kid.
cool.
And sometimes he would even talk to them while he's in the on-deck circle.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And guys typically won't do that.
Yeah,
but
no. That's
the loyalty is definitely one-sided.
Yeah.
It's fan to team.
Yep.
And I don't think much exists
very
anywhere
little.
outside
Very
of
little.
that. I don't see that it does.
Here we go.
Mike, do you want to do I can't wait to see this top five.
We have
for
a
Boogie.
very special top five. As we mentioned earlier, it is a sad day here at UCSS because this is Boogie's last appearance in the studio with us
Can't believe it.
post-USFL season. Boogie,
grow
it's
up
been
so
a pleasure,
fast,
man. Hopefully you have enjoyed yourself, and we couldn't let Boogie go without a special top five for Boogie. So you guys all know, on top of being one of the most dominant defensive tackles in the entire USFL, Boogie is also an actor, a successful actor and a up-and-coming actor in Hollywood. He appeared in a Super Bowl commercial with Rihanna. He played a member of the 1972 undefeated Dolphins. He's an All-American on Netflix. Boogie, am I missing anything else on your IMDb resume?
Nope. You hit it all.
So the top five that we came up with today are the 5 roles we want to see Boogie do next. So
Wow,
we're
that's a
send
great
Boogie
top
out
five.
with the 5 roles we want to see Boogie star in next. And I'm going to let Anthony explain number 5 because this was his suggestion. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but when he explained it to me, it worked, so I don't want to steal his thunder. Steve, take number 5, and Anthony, please explain.
So I can't believe Mike has never seen Lilo and Stitch, but Agent Bubbles, I could totally believe Boogie being an
we love
undercover
Agent
CIA
Bubbles.
agent hunting down aliens.
You know it well, don't you?
I have no
I-
idea what that is.
I grew
do,
up on that
only
show.
because-
I love Lilo and Stitch. 626, that's my guy. Amazing show, and I definitely would be Agent Bubbles. Wow, that's a good one.
All right, so Anthony,
Good
kudos
call,
to you
Anthony.
on that.
Really good call.
I guess I have to start watching Lilo and Stitch. That's a bad job out of me. This next show and this next show I am familiar with. Boogie, are you an HBO fan? Do you watch a lot of HBO shows?
Not too much, no.
All right, well, Anthony and I put our heads together, and we think you would make a phenomenal house leader in House of Dragons. House
Oh, I am watching Game of Thrones right now. I'm a huge
Yeah.
Game of Thrones fan. I'm on
this is
season
a
4.
prequel.
This is a prequel.
Yeah.
And the Maulers are Kings of the North right now. So
There you
that's
go.
a good one. That's a
Yeah.
good one. Oh
you
my
can
God.
see yourself in that role.
Did you see
Yeah.
that little trench thing he had on? I like that.
like
That was
that, yeah.
clean.
Anthony, we'll send you all these Anthony went hard on these graphics.
Do you have an agent, by the way?
Yes.
Okay, make sure your agent gets the clip of you in the locker room.
Okay.
That shows passion, fire, energy. You could play any defensive or offensive lineman player in an NFL series or movie, because you
That's
certainly
real life, yeah.
look the part. You are that part, and
it's not an act.
When I watch that locker room speech, the fire and passion comes out. Actors need to have that, and you have it in spades. All right.
So we varied up these roles. So we got Boogie in a mythical show with dragons. We got him in a live-action comedy of Lilo and Stitch. We also thought Boogie could play a good bad guy. So we thought of all the movies of which Boogie could be a great villain, and we came down to this. A big-time star with a cast of other big-time stars where Boogie could still physically dominate them. How about the lead villain in the next Expendables movie?
That would be pretty sweet.
That'd be a hell of a cast.
That is an amazing cast. That is
yes, it is.
Oh my God.
I thought you were going to go like Fast and Furious.
That's what I thought he was going with Fast and Furious.
Because I could see you in Fast and Furious too.
Yeah,
we can also see that little on-the-fly production meeting. Fast and Furious can absolutely.
I'll be the one that take out Dominic Toretto. Won't be no more movies here. For family.
So you're going to be the guy that ends the franchise, the longest franchise in the history of Hollywood.
For family, yeah. All right.
For family, that's a great line there, Boogie. Okay, number 2. This is my favorite one, I think. There's always a president in a disaster movie. And I think Boogie, with his ability to switch up from happy to sad facial expressions, being the president of the United States in a disaster movie.
So the meteor is coming and it's going to take out the U.S. the world.
Accentuate all of Boogie's
By the way,
best
that desk
qualities.
looks like it's for a little kid.
Yeah, I mean, you're either 9'6", or they put you at a elementary
It's Boogie Wembanyama
desk.
I'll be honest, I was 15 minutes late today and was rushing to finish some of these.
Who's going to be his
I don't know if I'm saving the world or I'm hitting my button and just going down to my bunker. It depends how big the threat is.
I don't blame you.
But Boogie, what do you think? Before we show you the last one, what do you think of the first 4?
Amazing. I would love to do each of those roles. That president one is funny. The action one would be amazing. I do want to get into the action world. I plan on taking some stunt classes when I get home, so I can do some stunt fighting and stuff like that. So perfectly
Did you see
matched.
the Tom Cruise stunt for Mission Impossible, the motorcycle one?
No, I haven't.
Watch it.
Okay.
There's like an 8-minute movie just on the stunt.
How they did
it.
It
is. They said it's the most dangerous, risky, incredible stunt in the history of Hollywood, and he had to do it 6 times. He essentially had to ride a motorcycle up a ramp. It was like 250 feet long.
You didn't have a stunt guy for that?
That was like this wide, and then at the top of it, push the bike and pull a parachute. It's an insane scene.
Wow.
It's in the new Mission Impossible. All right, number 1. Wait, number 2 you said was your favorite, right?
So number 2, you'll understand why in a sec. So number 1, and this is what we do honest to goodness hope happens here, Boogie. We really hope this is your next role in life following your USFL career, following your UCSS career, because it would be awesome. Not just for you,
Y'all gonna make me
but
cry.
for us here too. We hope that Boogie's next role is starting defensive tackle for the Cleveland Browns. The acting stuff could wait, Boogie. We need you in Cleveland on a full-time basis, making the big bucks in the NFL, coming in on Tuesdays on your off days, giving us the first-hand perspective from the locker room. So those are the 5 roles we want to see Boogie play. Cobra Bubbles, a Game of Thrones house leader, the lead villain in The Expendables, the president of the United States in a disaster movie, and most importantly, a future defensive tackle for the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, I like number 1.
The largest president.
Well done. Well done, guys.
Number 1 would be a huge blessing. I just want to say thank you guys so much to the UCSS fan for welcoming me, giving me this opportunity to show my personality and show that I belong here and show that I can do this. I know it's a long road ahead of me, but you guys will always be the first family that gave me the chance to show the world. And I'm just so grateful and thankful. This is a bittersweet moment. This isn't a goodbye, but more so a see you later.
I like that.
And we're family forever. And I'm always a call away if I have to call in or if I'm ever in Cleveland and you guys need me to come by. I'm here. I appreciate you guys so much more than you ever know. And just to learn from you guys and watch how you work every day and watch G and watch Bull and the passion you guys have to all these topics and how much you really care about this market.
Yeah.
It's just a great sight to see, and I just want to say thank you, McNuggets, thank you, everybody in the background, thank you guys always.
Well, the pleasure was ours.
Yep.
Yes. We've enjoyed you immensely. I think we have to cap it off with this. Aside from the starting defensive tackle for the Browns, what's the role you most want to play?
Man, right now how big Marvel is, if I could just for some way get into the Marvel community, into the MCU universe, whether it's a villain or a new superhero that they've created or an old one from the comic books, that would be amazing.
Have you seen it all? Have you watched everything Marvel?
No, I'm not even like a Marvel junkie or Marvel nerd. I just know how those fans like.
Yeah, it's huge.
They bleed Marvel. So, and if you get in a Marvel movie, you're set. Even if it's a side role, you can be a side character for 30 years.
There's no doubt.
So
there's like small characters in all those movies.
The sky is the limit for you, whether it's football, whether it's acting. I think you have a tremendous broadcasting career ahead of you. I really do. I think that you're funny, you're smart, you're experienced, you're knowledgeable, and not
afraid to be critical.
Yeah, you're not afraid to be critical, and I would love to turn on a game one day and hear the play-by-play guy introduce his color analyst as Boogie Roberts. I would stand up and scream.
I got one more thing for Boogie. Boogie, if you guys win the championship on Saturday, we need a selfie video of you celebrating to run on the show Monday. Just a heads up.
Epic.
Like, I don't know if it's chugging champagne, if it's well, I don't care what it is. We need some sort of inside the locker room access that no one else could get in the world unless they turn into UCSS on Monday.
Good call.
Consider it done. That's easy.
Good luck. Go get
him. Good luck, Boogie.
Go get
it's
him,
been
brother.
a pleasure.
An awesome dude.
And this is not the last you'll ever see of Boogie
Roberts. Like I said,
Roberts.
this isn't a goodbye. So see you later.
I like that. I like that a lot. Okay, you've got some business to take care of while you do that.
We got some reads to do as we
Earl.
unhook Boogie and we bring Earl the Pearl in for the second hour. Boogie, thank you again, my friend. It is
Kick
officially
their ass on Saturday.
the lunch
Saturday
hour
Sunday?
of the ultimate Cleveland sports show, and that means the lunch hour is brought to us by Colleague Companies Championship. All your favorite senior tour golfers will be at the famous Firestone Country Club. It's just a short drive from Cleveland from July 12th to the 16th. We're going to have some big guests joining the show from the country club in the coming weeks leading up to the event and during the event. There are free concerts for kids, fun, family-friendly events for everybody, free admission for children. All the information you could ever imagine, you could ever need is at colleaguegolf.com. So make sure you check them out at colleaguegolf.com for all your Colleague Golf Championships
needs. It's getting close now. It's getting real close.
It is getting close in a couple of weeks. Also, if you're not a member of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, well, what are you waiting for? We have special overtime content every day, and that is what you get if you are a Coaches Tier member. If you're a Starters Tier member, you get loyalty badges, custom emojis, and part of those members-only community posts. As a Starters Tier, as a Coaches Tier, you get that overtime content plus some other perks. We got a couple of things rolling out in the coming days, which should be fun for those Coaches Tier members. So we appreciate you guys for doing that. And also, one last thing, we're giving away 4 more tickets here. We just had Boogie. Boogie's heading upstairs as we speak. If you want to see Boogie in Canton this weekend at the USFL Championship, you need 2 things. You need a valid email, and you have to be able to get tickets through Ticketmaster. So the third person to put in the YouTube chat right now, Boogie, will be our next recipient of the 4 free tickets to the USFL Championship game on Saturday. Get to it. We will find you in the chat. The third person to say Boogie will get 4 free tickets to the USFL Championship. One more note for you guys. Daryl Johnston of the USFL joining us at 12:30 today. Steve Becker booked him 12:30, which means we'll do Martin Emerson mic'd up about 12:40. We'll talk to DJ for 10 minutes. We will get into the home run swings. We'll get into Martin Emerson Jr. mic'd up, which I promise you guys will love. But with Earl on the seat now, let's talk a little Guardians. And, Bull, I'm just going to roll the ball to you. You can take it from here.
So it's funny. Yesterday, I haven't gone on a big Twitter rant in a while. And there was something about we're almost at the halfway point of the baseball season, right? I think the Guardians have played 77 games, I believe.
They have.
So we're 5 games away from the halfway point. 4 games away, or maybe it's 76 games, whatever it is.
They are 37 and 40, so they're 77 in.
Right, so they're
4 games from the halfway point.
4 games for the halfway point. So it's happening this week. And I look at this team, and yes, on the listen, there's a lot of positive things in general, big picture about the organization, right? I'm not a huge fan of the owner, but the owner does some things really well. The thing he does well is he is patient with his people. He hires smart people, and outside of the money, allows them to do his job. Now, I personally believe that the reason the Guardians have been consistent doesn't have a ton to do with Dolan, has more to do who he's hired. But he deserves credit for that, unlike the other owners in this town who have hired a lot of nitwits. So overall, I'd still say Dolan is a okay owner. Certainly not great, certainly not terrible. Okay owner, okay? The front office is magnificent. Even the best front office in every sport is going to screw up sometimes. It happens. Mistakes are made. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's close to perfect. Not in our job, not in their job, not in any job, okay? Mike Chernoff and Chris Antonetti are, if they're not the best in the business, they're in the discussion for the best in the business. Terry Francona, if he's not the best in the business, is in the discussion for the best in the business. I love Terry Francona. I love the way he motivates players. I love the way he relates to players. But that doesn't mean they're not flawed, okay? I think Terry Francona, in-game managing, is not as good overall as he is in motivating players and getting them to be at their best. And this year in particular, he's had me scratching my head quite a bit, more than most years. Let me make it clear. I'm not saying fire Terry Francona. I can't imagine I'd ever get to the point where I'd want to fire Terry Francona. I'm not saying that. But it doesn't mean he can't be criticized. And the same thing for the front office, and certainly for ownership for not spending money. I look at this Guardians team, and I'm beyond frustrated. Yes, they're, whatever it is, 2 games out of first at the moment. And you can say, well, they're still in it. Yeah, they are. But they should be so much more. The Guardians, with the quality of people they have running this show in the front office and manager, should not be 2 games out and 3 games under 500 in the worst division I have ever seen in the history of baseball. Now, I get it. Before the 60s, there was no divisions, and it's only been somewhat recently that we've been to 5-team divisions. But still, the Tigers and Royals are awful. The White Sox have, over the last few years, they have talent, but they have the worst chemistry I've ever seen in my life. They can't do anything right. They've had a ton of injuries and underachievements. The Twins are fine. They're, a mediocre team. The Guardians, if the payroll had been higher, there's no reason this team shouldn't be 10 games up at first. To be excited that they're only 2 games out and 3 games under, they are in the worst division. Now, the league may be balanced, but you still play more games in your division than you do than you play other teams, right? You may not play the Tigers, White Sox, and Royals 18 times, but you still play them 12. That's more than you playing the teams in the other divisions, and certainly more than you playing the teams in the National League. They have so many holes in the lineup, it drives me nuts. And why are we to this point? Why are there so many holes in the lineup that, let's face it, overachieved last year? They have no power. Why are they here? Because they have accumulated all these minor league players. Some who will turn out to be good, some who will not, right? A lot of this minor league talent is still completely unproven. Very little of it is proven, especially their top guys. We don't know how good Arias is going to be. He's done nothing in the majors. We don't know how good Rocchio is going to be. He's barely played in the majors. Same with Naylor. Valera hasn't been up here yet. Tyler Freeman's barely been up. Some of the guys who have had some success weren't even their top prospects. But I look at this team and I say, we've been talking for 3 years about trading this glut of prospects that we didn't want to give up on. Now we got to trade them for veterans. Where's that? Where has that happened, proven for the best players? That hasn't happened. Meanwhile, we've held on to these prospects so tightly, most of them haven't been given an opportunity, and yet some guys we gave away. Will Benson, let me make it clear, Will Benson and Nolan Jones, not enough sample size. I'm not here to tell you that those guys are great proven players. But Will Benson and Nolan Jones, especially Nolan Jones, but both of them are performing well with the opportunity they've been given in Colorado and Cincinnati. Have you seen what Will Benson looks like? We saw him last year, right? This guy is built like a brick you-know-what house. He is huge. He was a first-round pick. Why was he given almost no opportunity? Nolan Jones, another high draft pick, was the number 1 prospect for the Guardians for a number of years by multiple baseball outlets. He had 90-something plate appearances for the Guardians. No chance. Now, again, these guys might go down the toilet. But we had so many alleged great prospects that we couldn't even give these 2 guys with credibility, with credentials, an opportunity here in Cleveland. And what are we left with? We're left with an outfield that has 6 home runs and 60 RBIs. Think about this for a minute. Will Brennan, Miles Straw, and Stephen Kwan have 6 homers and 60 RBIs in over 800. I'm sorry, I gave him too much credit. 58 RBIs in over 800 trips to the plate. Carlos Santana, remember Carlos Santana? Wouldn't we say he's washed up? Carlos Santana, it's been a long time since he's got 6 home runs by himself. I can name you 25 players who most of you never heard of who have hit 7 home runs. Gary Sanchez. Remember Gary Sanchez? He was the catcher of the Yankees.
He's
He
been
got
irrelevant
cut. He
for
was
5
basically out of
years.
baseball for 2 years. He got picked up by the Mets in May. He was there for 3 days. Then he got cut. He got picked up by the Padres 3 weeks ago. He has 7 home runs. He has like 50 trips to the plate, and he was out of baseball. The Guardians can't hit. And this idea that they were going to make this big run with a bunch of singles hitters doesn't work, especially when the singles hitters are not getting enough singles. You can't win with no power. Here's the bottom line. The Guardians have to shake things up in a big-time way. Not fire people, but make a lot of changes to this roster. I don't know if they can do it in season. It might have to happen after the season. You have to take, in my opinion, you make Miles Straw backup outfielder. He's overpaid. He's making over $6 million a year the next 3 years. That's a disaster. Nobody's taking that contract. His defense has regressed a little bit. His defensive run saves are at 0. Defensive run saved. All right, he's not even winning a Gold Glove this year. His offense is abysmal. He's knocked in 12 runs. 12 runs? 12! Stephen Kwan's regressed. Brennan's okay. If I'm the Guardians next year, all right, I'm stuck with Josh Bell. Maybe I try to, if I trade Bieber, maybe I try to include him. Maybe I take one less prospect and try to get rid of Josh Bell. That contract's a complete disaster. But when you look at building blocks of this franchise, I got 4 young starters. I got the 3 rookies and Tristan McKenzie. I'm building with them. All right? I got Jose. I got Jimenez. I got to find out either Arias, Freeman, Rockio. One of them has got to be my shortstop. Let's go. I'm giving Naylor a shot at catcher. He's got to play for the next year and a half. Josh Naylor, in a perfect world, is my DH, playing 90% of the time, sits against the tough lefties. I got to get a legit first baseman, which they'll probably have to postpone a year because they're stuck with Bell. And I have to get legit corner outfielders. And if that means trading Brennan, Valerio, Arias, I don't give a shit. Trade them and get me proven hitters. This team has the core of winning. Jose Ramirez, Jimenez, the young pitchers, Clase, they're paying them nothing. These are really top-notch ball players. Ownership has got to come through and raise this payroll. Jay, since 1995, only one team with a payroll lower than 15th has won the World Series.
Wow.
That's it. The Marlins in 2003 were the only team. And in fact, if somebody said, well, the last 10 years, it's mostly been teams, and the only team that wasn't top 10, there was one team that was like 12th, I can't remember, over the last decade. And that team was 12th at the beginning of the year. Most of the teams that are even 12th or 10th or 8th,
they're adding it.
They're adding as we go. So by the end of the year, that team's in the top 8, top 6, whatever. The Braves, when they won, they were, I think, 10th. I'm sure they were not 10th by the time you got to September.
Well, they made a lot of moves in August.
Exactly.
A lot of moves.
So I'm sure they were up to 6th or 7th. Listen, spending money isn't the only thing. The Mets have the largest payroll in baseball. They are a disaster. They're awful. But can you imagine how good this team could be if Chris Antonetti and Mike Chernoff had the ability to be 15th? I'm not asking them to be 3rd. I'm not asking them to be 7th. I'm saying, can we get to 15th? Is that really too much to ask?
27th or 30th.
I mean, come on. If they could be 15th. I don't think that's outrageous to ask them to be middle of the pack. And if they can get to 13th, 14th, 15th, right there, you can win. And think about how good this team could be if they didn't always have to shop for those extra spots with Josh Bell and Mike Zunino, with the bargain basement bin. Yeah, those guys are going to fail sometimes. I thought Bell was a good signing. I was dead wrong, and so were the Guardians. He stinks. Mike Zunino, terrible. The Miles Straw, that's what I've been saying from the beginning. That was a bad contract. They're paying him. He stinks. He can't hit. I can't have it. I got to turn Quan Brennan to one starter. I'm putting Quan or Brennan in center field. The other one I'm trading as part of a deal. I need bookend outfielders that are going to hit me 50 home runs at least between them. And until they do that, this team's not going to win. And yeah, they may still win this division because this division stinks. They got a shot. Even if they trade Shane Bieber, they still got a shot because that's how bad this division is. But they're not winning. They're not winning in the playoffs. Folks, since being up 3-1 on the Cubs in the 2016 World Series, the Guardians are 6-14 in the playoffs. That's terrible. And they got 4 of those 6 wins last year. That's it. They've only, besides 2016, they've won 1 playoff series, that against the Rays last year. in almost 20, I'm going too far. I think it's 15, 16 years. Yes, the team's consistently in the mix. That's because of the great people they have. Their worst record since Terry Francona took over as manager is 80-82. As a Guardians fan, you always got a shot to be in the mix, but it feels like such a miracle if they can make any run in the playoffs because of where the payroll's at. It's not everything, but it's got to be higher. You can't win with the 28th payroll. It's just not going to happen. It's too big a long shot. This team is too good in key spots. Front office, manager, and some key guys in the field. You got to supplement. This has to be the offseason that the Guardians think differently, trade the glut, get proven hitters, and let's freaking go. I want this team to win a World Series so bad. It needs to happen soon. The crowds are getting better. Attendance is way up from last year, especially the weekend games the last month or so. The crowd against the Astros was awesome. This weekend against Milwaukee, there were good crowds. We need more from ownership. The fans are coming. Let's go. Spend some freaking cash. Thank you.
No, you know what? You got it all, man.
Got education right here.
You got it all. You hit all of it. I'm glad you touched on the Tito piece. The hell was he doing yesterday? Letting Miles Straw hit in that situation.
I don't know. I don't know why did he run Straw for
I don't
Freeman?
know that.
I didn't understand that.
I didn't either. I don't know.
It's not like Freeman is Josh. I mean, even Josh Naylor's decent. Right? Like, it wasn't like I was at first base, you know? I mean, Freeman's a good athlete.
I know. I didn't understand it. I mean, is he a little faster? Probably. But it's not like you're dealing with a slow guy that you've got to get off the base path.
It doesn't make any sense.
And honestly, the Tito piece of this, he was the guy I never questioned. Like, you know, does he make mistakes? Of course. Yeah. Like you said, everyone does. But this year, there have been a number of situations where I'm like, is he losing his managerial fastball?
I'm not ready to go fire him. I can't imagine I will.
I'm not nowhere near that.
But I can't imagine I ever will. But he's made me scratch my head more this year than he ever has in the past.
Help me answer this. Oscar Gonzalez is no worse than 3 or 4 of the guys that are getting regular at-bats right now.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Yeah.
Oscar Gonzalez was the hero, the playoff hero of this team last year.
Right.
He was becoming a fan favorite.
Yeah.
We love him. He had a bad start. I'm not here to advocate that his start didn't warrant him being sent down, but if that's the bar you're going to use, I've seen enough Gabriel Arias.
Yeah.
I know that's a bold take.
I know. Well,
I've seen enough.
If you're not going to play Gabriel Arias every day, if you're not going to give it, then send him down. Let him play every day in the minors. He's been terrible.
Is it my imagination, or does he strike out half of his at-bats?
I can't remember the last time he had a useful at-bat.
It seems he strikes out every single time.
It's horrible.
And so here's what I don't understand. Yeah. You're committing, and we like Will Brennan. Will's a friend of the show. I like Will. I think Will is a serviceable player. But I think his splits are terrible.
Terrible.
He clearly cannot hit left-handed pitching. I think he's doing okay against right-handed pitching.
Do you want
least
the
in
splits?
my mind. Yeah. I think he's okay.
He's hitting.
Power.
It's a small sample size, real quick, but against righties in 154 at bats, he's hitting 286.
Okay.
Which you'll take and run to the bank.
Hell, that's awesome. I'll take that all day. But against lefties, he's horrible.
In 38 at bats, he's hitting 184.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not a huge sample size, but it's enough.
No, it's not. But there's a 100-point difference. I can't have that.
So Oscar got off to a bad start when he went down to Columbus, but he's played better lately.
Oscar's hitting the ball better.
Yes, so let's get him back up. I don't want to see Rosario play every day either. I know he's been a little better, but
I believe in Rosario. I do. I'm not ready to
But they're moving on from him at the end of the year.
But you know what? Gabriel Arias isn't it.
Then let's see Rockio. I mean,
maybe. But give me Arias's strikeouts per at bat.
131 at bats and 50 strikeouts.
Okay.
Yeah, that's awful.
That's almost 40%.
Especially like if he had a dozen home runs, then I'd be like, well, okay, that's fine.
Right, risk reward.
Yeah.
Go up there and swing.
What does he have? 1 home run?
No, he's got a couple. He's got 4 home runs and 6 RBIs.
Oh, actually, it's 4.
RBIs.
Oh, right.
Okay, now,
and 6 RBIs.
How do you get to that point? 4 home runs and 6 RBI. That's like a softball stat.
That's crazy. Josh Donaldson of the Yankees has 8 hits, 6 home runs this year.
Oh, my God.
Arias is hitting 191, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, I can't. I got all these guys.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Your point about the players in the pipeline, we've clogged the pipeline. There's no flow now.
Right.
Because we've got so many of them that it's actually become punitive to us.
100%.
And so here's where the organization earns its medal. And normally they've been great at this. Find out the ones that are going to hit before everybody else knows about it.
That's right.
Now, the word's out on Arias. good luck trading him.
Right. Think about the trade value. Now, again, Arias, way too small sample size to determine his career.
Yeah, but
I am good with sending him down to the minors right now.
I am too. I've seen
but
enough
like,
of them at the
think
big
about
league
what
level.
his trade value would have been a year ago
I
compared to
know.
now.
That's what I'm saying.
Think about what Nolan Jones' trade value. You ended up giving him away for nothing. Same thing with Will Benson.
They bet on the wrong pony in that scenario.
They certainly did.
Like, give away Arias.
Because right now, if you're making a trade, who are you excited about trading for? Like, I'm not excited about trading for Arias or Freeman.
No.
Like,
and the pitchers, so Allen and Gavin Williams and Bybee.
Right.
Those guys are, in typical Cleveland fashion, they're hitting more on the pitchers.
Yes.
Now, all of them have had little check marks against them where they're like, okay, they're not dominant aces yet. None of them.
No.
But they all have the stuff to be dominant aces.
Sure. And Bybee, I mean, Williams only been one start, but Bybee and Allen, it's been way more good than bad.
Way more good.
Especially Bybee. I mean, the way he bulldogged through that game after the bad defense when Fry makes the
I don't think he gave up a hit after the home run.
He was just great, and I loved when he's fired up when he gets through this because he hadn't gotten through the sixth inning in a while.
Right.
And he got out of that jam with some strikeouts. And by the way, that's another thing. And I know he got a hit to win the game. Good for him. Why is David Fry playing right field?
I don't know. I can't understand it. I think the other thing about Tito is he has had weird infatuations with guys that I'm like, I don't get it with him.
Yeah.
Like, why is Tito giving this guy so many opportunities? And what the hell did Oscar Gonzalez do?
Yeah, that he's totally off the map.
That he is banished to the minor leagues.
I don't know.
When if you compare his numbers to some of the guys that are consistently getting chances,
Yeah.
which did nothing for us last year in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Why is Oscar the guy that gets banished to Columbus?
I don't get it. I mean, right now, like, how many guys do you trust in the lineup? Obviously, Jose and Naylor.
That's it.
Earl, how many do you think? How many do you trust?
I'll probably trust 2.
I mean, I think Jimenez is starting to come around, and I have no worries about him long term.
I don't
He's
either.
had a bad first half.
I'm also there with Rosario too. I do think that there's too much there that I see that I like. I have changed my thinking on Miles Straw, which now is the first time that I actually made Bull change his mind, and Bull actually made me change my mind. Because last year you were like, he's not that good of a center fielder, and I was insisting, no, he is.
Yeah.
He won a Gold Glove. You were like, okay, you know what? He can run the bases. He can't hit a lick. But now I'm with you.
Yeah.
Bye.
I can't have it.
Bye.
I can't do it anymore. I mean, that you knew he wasn't going to get a hit in the 10th.
I knew it was over. I knew the game was over.
Now, and somebody said to me, well, you didn't criticize Ramirez and Naylor. Well, those guys get clutch hits all the time. I mean, Ramirez, listen, they both had bad at-bats in the 10th inning.
They did.
They both swung at bad strike threes. What can I say about Naylor right now? He's gotten a clutch hit almost every time he's been up lately.
Right.
Jose's always been clutch, but like
those
Straw,
two right now are above reproach for me. I mean, I liked your point about Naylor. Naylor's been better against lefties, but the tough lefties, he's an 0 for 4.
No, but that's
you can
fine.
pen it in. He's an 0 for 4 against good lefties.
But I can still play him 85% of the time. That's
so
fine.
What I don't understand is, when a major league roster is being constructed, you have to find out, okay, where's the power going to come from?
Yeah.
The Guardians have completely abandoned the theory of where you get your power. You get your power from first and third base, the corners.
Yeah.
First and third, left and right.
Yeah.
You expect that you're going to be weaker up the middle.
Sure.
Your shortstop and second baseman are probably more defensive-oriented and slap base hit guys. Same with your center fielder. Occasionally you get a Mike Trout, the exception, not the rule. But the fact that they have completely ignored the fact that you have to get power from your outfielders, that's why this team is historically awful at hitting the ball over the fence.
No doubt. I mean, maybe, even if we take Straw out of that, I mean, like Quan and Brennan
4 and 1?
have
How many
5 home runs between them.
Yeah, it's not enough. It's not enough.
I'm sorry, 6. It's 6
because Straw
has none. Right, yeah. I mean, 6 home runs from your outfield.
I'm gonna go out on a limb, and I don't know how you'd figure this out. Maybe you'd have to go to Elias. I would be very comfortable in saying that in the history of Major League Baseball, there may only be a handful of other teams, if any, who 77 games in have a total of 6 home runs from their starting outfield.
I would bet.
I can't remember what would have happened.
At least
in the live ball era.
In the last 70 years.
Yeah, in the live ball era.
I would bet that. I would say there's almost no chance a team has less.
I don't think it's ever been done.
No. I mean, to
guys run into balls that hit home. And you hit a home run.
I would say 80% of teams, maybe higher, at least in the last 40 years, have one outfielder with at least 6 home runs. 80%, maybe more than 80%.
I mean, I think
let
it's more
alone
than,
3 that have
yeah,
combined.
You know what? I don't think it's ever happened that 77 games in the season, the team has a total of 6 home runs from its outfield.
I mean, even if you had like Carlos Gonzalez's 80 at-bats for the year, I think he only hit, not Carlos Gonzalez.
Oscar Gonzalez
hit I think
one.
only 1 in the majors. A couple of sprinkle other guys. I bet you it's maybe 8 or 9 total. Maybe 10.
Can't win that way.
I mean, you can't.
Can't win that way.
Cannot win.
Cannot win that way.
And the only way you could even be in contention that way is if everything's perfect.
And you play in the Central. Because if they were in the East, they'd be in last place by a lot.
They'd be no higher than.
They'd be second to last in the West.
Right. And in the National League, I think they'd be in 4th in the NL Central. I don't think they'd be higher than 4th in any other division. The NL Central's bad too, not quite as bad as the AL Central. But
you know what's making it worse? The Reds. That's pissing me off.
Yeah.
Jay, real quick, you mentioned 6 home runs. How many players do you think currently have in Major League Baseball 7 by themselves?
200? 300?
No,
not quite that many, but over 100.
I mean,
139 players have hit 7 home runs by themselves. And if you
we're
go to 6,
we're almost at the halfway point.
I told you, Gary Sanchez. Gary Sanchez was out of baseball, has 75 plate appearances. He has 7 home runs. I mean, it's crazy.
Jordan Walker is 168th, or tied for 168th. There are 200 players in Major League Baseball that have hit 6 home runs this year.
And you look at it, Jay. Here's what drives you nuts about the Reds situation. Is they call up this Ellie De La Cruz.
I know.
And he's
a
doing
phenom.
it all.
He is a phenom.
And their other young players are getting ignored because he's like they called up the shortstop Matt McLean, who was a first-round pick.
Playing well.
He's playing great.
But all the headlines are going
because this guy's amazing. He hit for the
cycle.
I mean,
he hit for the cycle.
Spencer Steer, another rookie. Like they got all these exciting young players.
That's what pisses me off.
Yeah.
Like they're the team in Ohio now that's playing winning baseball.
Yep.
They're the team that's bringing up the young stuff. Like we've brought these guys up and we thought, okay, here comes Bo Naylor.
Right.
Oh, here comes Gabriel Arias.
And none of them have exploded on the scene. Right.
When last year, what was the MO? Everybody they brought up hit. Everybody.
Right. And now everybody's gone. You know, Brennan's okay. Oscar Gonzalez.
What is
Stephen
Brennan?
Kwan's gone backwards.
I know
he's
he
back
has.
260.
I'm trying to figure out what is Will Brennan.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure.
I don't either.
It feels like the best of him might be 270 and 15 home runs, and I don't want that every day in the outfield.
No, I don't either. But I still like him better than Nolan Jones, even though Jones is putting the numbers up.
Yeah, listen. Again, small sample size for Nolan Jones. He's playing in Colorado. There's no pressure. It's a good ballpark to hit in. But if Kwan's not a 300 hitter or close to it, he's useless. I mean, he's, again, good defensively, but it was bad enough making the argument for Straw and center. I don't care how good defensively my left fielder is.
You can have one fast, defensive, light-hitting outfielder. Right. You can't have 2.
No.
And I don't think Kwan is a light-hitting outfielder. I think he's going to hit no power, but he's going to.
Yeah.
He's a great guy.
Yeah.
To put at the top of your lineup and know that he's going to get close to 180 hits.
Yeah.
And he's going to get now 30, 40 stolen bases if he wanted to, and so that piece of it I'm fine with. But you can't have other light-hitting outfielders. No. You can't have another outfielder who has run into 1 home run ball the last 2 years.
I know, and I put this other tweet. I don't know if you saw this one, Mike. If you look at OPS, last 3 years, in 2021, Miles Straw was 10th worst in baseball.
Oh, my God.
Last year, he was 2nd worst. This year, he's 5th worst. If you combine it over the last 3 years, I'm pretty sure, I didn't do this, but I would pretty sure that he has the worst OPS in baseball since the start of the 21
season. Well, he'd have to be, because guys
10 3 years in a row.
Guys that were bottom 10 typically aren't in the game anymore.
No, they're not. He and Austin Hedges might have the 2 worst OPSs. I mean, it's just crazy. And you could live with a Stephen Kwan or even a Miles Straw, or maybe even both, if you had 5, 6, 7 big-time hitters in the rest of the lineup.
You don't.
They don't.
Yeah.
And
a guy like that, that's why I said on Friday, he might be able to fit into the Yankees because he's surrounded by guys that are going to hit 30.
Toronto, Tampa,
but he can't
Atlanta. I can't do it. Even Kevin Kiermaier, who's an outfielder who's been primarily like a defensive player, he's playing more for his defense.
Oh, he has way more.
He's got 6 home runs.
Yeah, he has
7
way
home
more
runs.
power than
At least get me double digits. At least get almost every player in baseball these days should at least get 10 home runs.
And Oscar Gonzalez is down.
Yeah, and he's got, I think, 6 home runs in Columbus, maybe 7, something like that. And he's been better lately. And
bring him up. Bring him up. You got to make changes. What you're doing isn't working. You're taking 2 steps or 1 step forward and 2 steps back. All of that being said, and I read your tweets, and I'm with you. I co-signed. I couldn't co-sign it anymore. All of that being said, because they play in the worst division in the history of Major League Baseball, and factually that's got to be true, they've got a chance.
They still have a chance.
And when you look at what they did, September 9th, I think we talked about this. September 9th, they had like a 1 or a 2 game lead going to Minnesota. And then they won. They went 22-5 or whatever, got white hot, and went into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Tito's teams tend to figure it out as the season goes on.
They do.
But at the All-Star break here, I want some move. I want action.
Something.
Because this team, as constituted, what good does it do you to make the playoffs and get knocked around in the first round? None. You want to make the playoffs because you want to think you have a chance. This team is constituted? No chance. Because Bieber isn't Bieber.
No.
He's just not. McKenzie, I got an email from somebody that watched our show Friday and I think went overboard with he characterized what I was saying about Sticks, McKenzie.
Yeah.
I wasn't saying that he's not going to have a major league career. I just said my concerns about his body type have ramped up.
Of course.
And
there's been a lot of injuries.
Because now it's not just the shoulder, it's the shoulder and the elbow. So it's cause for it's
no
reason
doubt.
for concern.
Yes.
So I don't know what he's going to end up being, but they're going to get very little to anything out of him this year.
Right. If he pitches it all this year, it's a win to me. It's frustrating.
I want moves. If you sit on your hands, it tells me that you're apathetic.
By the way, 2 last things really quick, I promise, Mike. 3 or 4 people on Twitter yesterday were trying to argue with me that the Guardians could trade Miles Straw. I'm like, are you out of your mind?
What were they arguing?
That somebody would trade for Miles Straw.
No.
He's owed $19 million the next 3 years.
Yeah, no, he's not getting any.
Nobody would trade for him.
No.
And number 2, somebody said, well, let's trade Shade Bieber for Jordan Walker. Now, I know you don't want to trade Bieber. I'm okay with it if they get major league talent.
Sure.
The Cardinals are not trading Jordan Walker.
Never.
This guy, have you seen what he looks like?
I have.
Oh, my God.
But, that's a typical, out-of-touch fan who thinks, let's just package him up for this and get – not going to happen.
No chance.
Okay, go ahead, Mikey.
We got Daryl Johnston joining us now. This was a last-second addition to the show.
Moose.
We have the EVP of the USFL before the USFL Championship this weekend in Canton. We've already given out 8 tickets, and now we have a Hall of Famer joining us. What's up, Daryl? Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks for having me, guys.
So I'm not sure if you're aware of it. You probably are. But one of the guys that's been a regular on our panel, he's come in every Monday for the bulk of the season, Boogie Roberts, one of the defensive linemen for Pittsburgh. Great guy, great personality, just and very knowledgeable, and not just football, but all sports. He's a huge NBA fan. He's from L.A. And here he is now. Every week for the last 4, he's come in and said, well, guys, if we don't win, my run is done. We're out. They had to win the last couple games of the regular season, the last 3, just to make it in the playoffs. And now here he is, a win from winning the championship. And I know Birmingham's going to be the big favorite, but he said something that I want your reaction to. He said, it ain't no fun when the Rabbits got the gun. I give this team a fighting chance, Moose. What do you think about that?
Oh, we get to test the old adage: defense wins championships and offense sells tickets. That's a hard pill for me to swallow as an offensive guy, but that's what everybody says. We're going to find out. I think it's going to be a great pressure test between these 2 teams. They've done a great job of wearing that underdog, disrespected team all season long. They were 1-9 last year. I don't think anybody had Pittsburgh on their radar to be the North representative in our championship game, but they've done a fantastic job. They don't beat themselves, and that's one of the things that we saw during the course of the season. We had some of our teams find very creative ways to lose games, and that's one of the things that Pittsburgh hasn't done. It's one of the things that Birmingham hasn't done. So I think we're getting our 2 top teams kind of rolling into this in our championship game. And I always tell people, they're like, well, the North Division, they didn't even have a winning record. You should expand so, you get the top 4 teams and not do it divisionally. The last 3 NFL teams to go to the playoffs with a losing record, 2 of those 3 won. So those guys are exactly what you said Boogie talked about. They are playing for their playoff lives at the end of the regular season. So they've got that sense of urgency. They've been in playoff mode for a long time, and they seem to kind of ride that wave and make pushes into the playoffs. So I'm really excited. to see how this game pans out, because I guarantee you, to your point, Birmingham will be the heavy favorite, and there's not going to be a lot of people thinking that Pittsburgh's going to pull this off.
Yeah, and they are a 6.5-point favorite. I saw this morning. I'm curious, Boogie was telling us about the quarterback from Birmingham, and he was saying that he thinks he's more dangerous out of the pocket running with the ball than he is in the pocket throwing the ball there. I know I'm guessing he's the favorite to win MVP of the league. How good is he?
He's very good. He's grown up. He's matured quite a bit. I think that he and Skip have a great rapport. It's always dangerous when your play caller and your quarterback get on the same page, and they've kind of got that telepathic, I already know what you're thinking type thing. When you get into the third down scenarios, when you get into the red zone scenarios, they know what the play should be called, and they're kind of walking in lockstep. That's where these two guys are right now. But Alex is playing superior to any point in his career as a football player, and he'll tell you that. And a lot of people will say it's because he's grown and understood that risk-reward scenario when making his decisions. And he has not put the Birmingham offense in a tough spot, during the course of the year. But it is true. There's a lot of quarterbacks that if you make them beat you from the pocket, sometimes they struggle with that. I think that that's another area that Alex has actually matured and grown. We all see how dangerous he is when he gets to the outside. He and Jay Sternberger seem to have that connection when the play breaks down and all of a sudden you're off script. That's one of the areas that Alex is very dangerous, but I think he's played very, very well from the pocket this year. So, Boogie may think that, hey, we're going to make him beat us from the pocket. The one thing that Alex has brought to the table this year is the ability to beat you from the pocket.
Hey, Daryl, where is the league as we get ready to go into this championship game compared to where you guys had hoped it would be? Is it growing at the rate that you had wanted? And what are the plans in the future for the USFL?
Yeah, we're on great footing right now. Coming out of year one, I thought we might go to a North Division and a South Division and have 4 teams in each hub, and for our league to have the confidence to expand to 4 hubs and put 2 teams in each one, which is much more than I thought we would do. It adds so many logistical challenges. It really kind of separates your workforce. Our USFL family, is now in multiple hubs instead of all together like we were in year one. So that presented some challenges there. But everybody's done a tremendous job, risen to the occasion. I thought we had a great year 2. I think our play is better at key positions. I think our quarterbacks across the board were better year 2 than year 1. We added 120 plus years of coaching experience with our 4 new hires this year. When you talk about Mike Nolan, Ray Horton, Curtis Johnson, and John DiFilippo, from high school, college, into the professional level, over 120 years. And there's 5 Super Bowls mixed in there with those guys. 3 of our 4 new hires were in our playoffs. So as good as we were this year, and as much as improved we were this year, I can't wait to see what we do in year 3. The consistency from season to season, you could see it with our players. They're much more comfortable. They understand it. One of the big things in football is you have to stop thinking, right? You're just reacting, and you can't get to that point until you become very comfortable in your systems. And I think we saw a lot of that here in year 2, and we should see even more of that in year 3.
Hey, Daryl, I got a question for you about the Sky Judge. So there was a impact penalty called in that championship game with Michigan and Pittsburgh. The Sky Judge was able to step in and get the correct call. How far away is the NFL from adapting some of what you guys do in the USFL as far as Sky Judge and other things like that?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of fans that are looking at it and thinking the same thing that you are, that, we can't have a mistake cost the team an opportunity to play for a championship. We had that same situation last year in New Jersey and Philadelphia. There was a roughing the quarterback call. And it did look like it in real time, but then when you looked at it in slow motion, it was not. And there was an interception thrown on that play that went all the way down inside the red zone, the other direction. And if that play would have stood, then New Jersey is on their way in to kind of seal that game and become the North Division champion. They overturn it in review, and Philadelphia goes on to win that game and represent the North in the championship game. And then we had another similar one Saturday night. I think when the stakes are high, and you're talking about the opportunity to compete for a championship, and you have the ability to step in and correct a call, I don't know how you don't look at that as the NFL and say we've got to find a way to make that work in our league, because there's just too much at stake, and we can't have the excuse of, well, you got to play that game and human error is a part of it. When we can fix human error, that prohibits a team from rightfully going to play for a championship, we should take advantage of that opportunity.
Now, is there ever going to be a time, do you guys think, where these teams will play in their cities, or is it always going to be hubs?
No, the mission is to get everybody into their home markets.
Okay.
You look at what our crowd was like Sunday night, and then what you had Saturday night. We have New Jersey and Pittsburgh in Canton. And listen, I'm from Western New York. I know the rivalry that exists between Western New York, Western Pennsylvania, and Eastern Ohio, right? It's Buffalo, Cleveland, Pittsburgh. They just battle, and it's hard for the people of Ohio to cheer for a team from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So our goal is to get every single one of our teams into that home market, have that home field advantage, really engage our fan bases. Let them know that we are going to be here. That's the hardest part, is we transition in a sustainable way to keep our league up and running at a pace that guarantees us the opportunity to get these 8 teams into their home markets. As we go through that process, we know that the fan bases in some of these hubs are like, well, it's hard for me to cheer for Pittsburgh because I know they're not going to be here all the time. Or it's hard for me to cheer in Philadelphia when you're up at Ford Field because I know they're probably going to be leaving soon. So it's really hard for the people there to commit themselves as a fan base. So the goal has always been to get all of our teams into their home markets.
Yeah. Slow and steady wins the race, and I like the plan.
Absolutely.
It seems to definitely be working so far.
Yeah.
Daryl, thank you so much for joining us. We hope you get a great championship game, and we here at the UCSS, we're giving away 40 tickets this week to watch Pittsburgh and Birmingham fight for the trophy. Thanks, Daryl. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Say hi to Boogie for me. He's been great. We're trying to get him some reps in the offseason as well. He is very talented.
Nice.
I love to hear that, and I know he's going to love to hear that. In fact, I know one day he wants to be a game analyst, so who better to mentor him than you? So I hope you kind of help him and take him under your wing. Yeah. Smart kid, great personality, passionate. I think he's got everything that it takes. Daryl, thanks again, man. Appreciate it.
You got it, guys. Thanks for everything.
There you go.
Hey, that'd be a huge win for Boogie if he could sort of have Daryl as his mentor and show him the ropes, because I see a lot of qualities in Boogie that I think
we're rooting for them to win Saturday night.
Yeah, good luck to Boogie.
8 o'clock, we're giving away 32 more tickets throughout the rest of the week, so stay tuned for how you can win those. Speaking of free tickets, you could get free admission to the College Companies Championship if you hurry up and check out colleaguegolf.com. They are coming to the famous Firestone Country Club next month. Should be fun. We'll be down there, so come hang out with us when we are down there at the Colleague Companies Championship.
Are we going down there for sure?
We're going to do something down there. We're not going the show down, but we're going to send someone down, do some reports. But over the weekend, speaking of reports, me and Earl the Pearl and I, sorry, Mom, went down to Greg Newsome's charity softball game. And we did something that no one else did. And I want Earl to set up how he made this initial connection. Then we're going to play the piece. But Earl, you've been out here for 40 minutes. You've said 3 words. Tell us how we set up.
Apparently, Earl was really popular there.
Yeah, I mean, so we get out there. Shout out to Greg Newsome. Shout out to the entire, event and things like that. Me, Martin Emerson Jr., David Njoku, Darius Garland that plays for the Cavs. We all got the same hairstylist. We all got the same loctician.
You're living in the big time.
Wait, loctician?
Yeah, it's a loctician.
I didn't know that's what they were called.
It's
that's
a loctician.
awesome.
Yeah.
I love it.
We got the same loctician. Now, come to find out, she had already told him about me.
Oh,
so
nice.
I got there probably about 40 minutes before McNuggets got there, interacting with the players, introducing myself, got the UCSS T-shirt on, telling them about us. And through conversation, he remembers her telling him about me. So we get to talking about our hair, and that broke the ice.
It always does. Hair tips, man. You're in.
Shout out to MJ Emerson Jr., man, was nothing short of amazing. Showed UCSS a lot of love.
Good.
We were the only sports entity out there that had a player mic'd up. And I think it had a lot to do with the off-the-field connections and things like that.
The loctician.
Yeah,
that was great.
So it was great.
You better give her a big tip next
now,
time.
Now, who's your loctician?
I would look great with the locks, wouldn't I? That would be a...
Put that on your to-do graphic list. I want to see what Bull looks like with dreads.
All right, so we will do that.
I think I would look good with dreads.
To what Earl was saying, we got a bunch of interviews, especially with the DBs on this team.
Yeah.
We talked to Martin Emerson, who you're going to see in a sec. We talked to Cam Mitchell.
I did my first
We talked
interview.
to Juan Thornhill, who knows Bull.
Yeah, tell that story, Mike.
We'll get to that when we do Thornhill.
Okay,
We got a couple of stuff. So what we're going to do here is we mic'd up Emerson for 3 innings of the softball game.
Oh, wow.
That was
It
well
came
done
out
by
awesome.
you guys.
So we're going to play this.
Let's see it.
We're going to react, and afterwards, I'll show you the home run swings from the home run derby, and we're going to grade some players' swings.
We'll pick the best home run swing on the Browns.
But let's start with Martin Emerson Jr., who is now a UCSS favorite. Shout out to MJ for being as cool as it comes. Earl nailed it. He was awesome, and he was super cool. Softball, let's just say he's probably made the right choice sticking to football. Steve, play it.
David, that shit can strike it out. Let's go! Let's go, Brad! Get one! Swing, batter, batter! That was coming here. That was coming to me right there. I seen it. Boo! They still gonna lose. That don't mean nothing. That just went home run. I like it.
Who hit the home run? Wrong turn.
He out. My slave's broken. Ah, go! Keep going. He can't throw. Perry Young can't throw. I try him every time. Perry Young can't jump or throw. We gotta keep it going. Barely. Almost.
Why does he have the champagne celebration goggles already? Seems a bit premature. He left illegally. He was not on the base.
Look at Kareem.
Nobody tore a knee in this.
Terrible base running skills.
Got it.
Oh, God.
You can see that coming.
He's called it.
I'm trying to play. That's
It looks like he's getting ready to play flag football. Got the flag down.
Boom!
All right.
Boom!
Donovan
Damn,
Mitchell's
I messed
obviously
up,
played
man.
a lot of baseball.
It's a bad play on me. But guess what? One bad play don't define you, so I'm coming back with a better play coming soon. Just watch.
A few minutes later.
Oh!
But you know what?
That's how you recover right
He
there.
put himself into position to make a great play by overcommitting.
Still a nice play. That was
Yeah,
great.
the Guardians definitely will not be calling Martin.
Shout out to MJ, man.
That was great stuff,
Shout
though.
out
Good
to
job by
MJ.
you to get him to wear the mic.
I got some feedback after the fact, too.
Yeah.
You know, she texted me. She said, you got a few minutes. She said, he loved you. He loved your personality.
Nice.
Said,
That's awesome.
you know, he had a lot of great things to say about the show.
I'd
Gave
say
him
you
a
guys
t-shirt.
are boys now.
I think so. I think we
boys
headed in that direction, you know. So
There you go.
You know how we do
That's
it.
awesome.
You know,
That was
After the
great.
game.
That was a lot of fun. He was a great sport.
He was, I'm telling you, and
Yeah.
Earl, I think that's the first time Earl's been out, and he actually did his first. He did a 60 seconds, so we're going to play that.
Oh,
Later in the
really?
week, we put Earl in front of the camera.
With
Earl,
who?
I'm not sure how many times.
AJ Green.
He did with AJ Green.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how many times Earl's had a chance to intermingle in a media setting with some pro athletes. Was that the first time in that kind of capacity? Earl?
I mean, outside of when we did Cavs Media Day last year, this was
Okay,
like my
fair.
second time. But
I think he has the knack.
He killed it. He killed it. And afterwards, Emerson retweeted 3 things from the softball event.
Yeah.
He retweeted the picture with Earl he took. He retweeted
Oh, your boys.
the tease
Yeah,
that
your
we
boys.
had setting up today's story.
Yeah.
And he retweeted, and we'll show you his home run swing coming up. Spoiler alert, he did not win the home run.
if he's retweeting everything UCSS, we got to be boys.
So I
You're
think,
definitely boys. I think
he's
if
gonna
Bull
come
gets
on.
locks, Bull and he could be boys.
He was, I'm telling you, he was as cool as it comes. You know,
That's awesome.
we've interacted with a bunch of guys, not as many here because, you know, a lot of times we're here during the show. We're not at training camp.
Right.
They were awesome. Shout out to Greg Newsome putting on a great event. And Emerson was as nice and as genuine. And we took the mic after 3 innings, and he was like, I got to give it back.
Oh.
And we were like, yeah.
Well, nice job putting together that piece.
Yeah,
Good
great job by
Earl.
you guys. Great job by him. He's obviously a great personality guy.
He was
No
awesome.
doubt.
He's a fan favorite. He's a
He's a good player.
UCSS favorite. And I think we're going to be getting a lot of scoop now because
Oh, yeah.
Earl's
Earl's
his
connected
boy.
now.
So we got to make sure that we
next thing we
ride
got to
that
do.
connection.
By the way, real quick before you play the next thing, there's only 8 Browns training camp practices that are available to the fans and media this year, which is low. However, I noticed there were a couple of 2 p.m. ones, which
Sunday.
is good.
I think they're all 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
I think most of them are. Yes.
We should go out there on a Sunday. We should go out there on a Sunday at 2 o'clock.
I'm pretty sure all 8 that are available to the public are 2 p.m. starts.
Are they?
I thought
it was like 6. Well, whatever. There's some, so that'll be good for us.
Next step in Earl the Pearl's progression, so we got to teach him how to edit.
Okay.
We got to teach him how to edit. We got to teach him how to shoot and edit. He got in front of the camera. Now we got to teach him how to use the camera. He did his first.
Got to have all
shot
skill
a couple of
sets,
60
but it's
seconds.
easy. Yeah. It's very easy.
I had fun, learned a lot, man. Shout out to my boy McNuggets, man. Gave me some pointers on how to interview.
Good.
He gave me some pointers, I think, before we left here during the week on how to shoot some video and things like that.
Great.
So
it's a dramatic learning curve.
Yeah.
In a month of doing it regularly, you got it.
But I had fun. I was ready for more.
Good for you. Well done. Very well done.
And shout out to Martin Emerson. We got to get him on. That is now the white whale for us because he would thrive in this situation.
Hey, they're boys, man.
Earl's on it.
They're boys. We'll bring them in. We'll talk about, how you condition the hair, what you do.
And shout out to Shanti, man, from the lock shop. That's
she made
her
all this
stylist,
happen, really.
Man.
Shanti.
Shout out to Shanti.
She's my favorite locksmith.
Yeah.
Not locksmith.
I don't know if they got the picture, but she even posted a picture of me and him on her Instagram, so she had fun with it. David Njoku is her favorite client.
Yeah.
She tries a lot of different styles out on him. So, and anybody with locks, like, we really, really love our hair, and we take who do our hair very serious. We
Sure,
take
it's
the
a big
upkeep
deal.
of it. This is not a cheap thing right here.
It doesn't look cheap.
It's costly. So
yeah, right. And I imagine the maintenance
costly.
is pretty.
And shout out to Stump Mitchell, Coach Stump Mitchell. He goes to her too as well. So she got a lot of.
So she seems to be the loctologist.
Yeah, she's the person to go to.
She's the person to go to in the city. So
I think they should be called locksmith.
So last thing we got to get to here is the home run swings. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different players. Not all Browns.
Did they all hit home runs?
Let's take the first one. MJ, we love you, brother. Don't worry. You are a guy.
Yeah, he is.
You are much better in the field, and that's saying something.
All right. He's not using his lower half at all. Yeah, he doesn't get enough leg twist in there.
So hard to work with the kids on that.
Just wait to it, though.
I know. It is hard.
As y'all watch, I'm going to talk to y'all. Just wait till y'all see it.
No, it's not.
It's just a pop-up? That's a home run in a silo.
Also, I was talking smack to all the other photogs there that no one can shoot baseball better than me when we get to some of the home runs. I ain't going to toot my own horn, but.
You were on it. Clearly, you had a nice zoom in on the ball there.
Y'all can't stay with me. All right, let's go to Donovan Mitchell.
Can we get Chris Antonetti on the phone? Before y'all see this, get Chris Antonetti on the phone right now. You just talked about a first baseman, right? A serviceable first baseman. I say no contract extension for the Cavs for Donovan Mitchell.
I could tell just by the little bit I saw in that piece.
Give me a 10-year, $300 million deal. We got our first baseman.
Wow, let's see.
I'll pass on that, but
this
I want
is
to see
absurd.
it.
Donovan Mitchell hit some absolute freaking
Yeah,
bangs.
I could tell just by his footwork at first base, he's done this.
And he's got the lefty swing.
Oh, my.
That's a classic lefty swing right there.
Woo. There's about 15 in here. We'll play some of them.
Those are.
This is no exaggeration.
Did he hit any out over the regular fence?
He broke car windows.
He
broke car windows?
He broke car windows.
Are you kidding me?
I don't think there's any cars parked back
there.
Yeah. A couple of these could have if there were cars back there.
The cop told me he broke 3 car windows.
That was over the regular fence.
He's hitting
Oh, he did break a car window?
Yeah, the cop said he broke 3.
Tanks.
Yeah, he was killing us.
Was that the hard ball, the home run ball? Because there's different softballs that you can use.
No, this is a regular.
Well, usually for home run derbies, they use the ones that bounce, that get a lot of.
Oh, then maybe I'm not quite sure. I didn't do the ball science.
Very nice and easy swing. He clearly won, right?
He did win. Yes, he beat our next contestant. Steve, you go right to 179 next. He beat Greg Newsome in the championship round, and Greg Newsome also hit a bunch of tanks. Steve, you can take it. It's right next. It's the next one. Yep. Here you go. Greg Newsome.
nice leg kick.
Tank City.
Good timing mechanism. A bit Army with the swing, don't you think?
Yeah, big time.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
This
and
next
he's not
one,
a big dude.
This next one is still
power.
traveling. This next one I'm not sure has landed yet.
Wow, he's all arms, too.
Yeah. He's getting good power for a skinny dude.
That went up on the lawn.
Yeah, he had 11. Mitchell had 15.
He couldn't hit baseball that way.
No, not with that swing, but he clearly has played
for softball.
before.
Next up was Kareem Hunt. He not a great swing. This was his 1 home run in the round.
He went
Shout
oppo.
out Kareem Hunt.
Yeah.
Fence wasn't super long, but that was his 1 home run. Next was Terrell Owens, who showed up. T.O., not a great hitter.
T.O. will show up to anything with
Did
a
you guys
camera.
get to talk to him at all?
We said what's up. But
Oh, no, that's an awful swing. I'm putting that in the Josh Bell category.
T.O. hit a home run in the game.
He did?
Yeah.
He showed up at 3 minutes before he was supposed to be up for the home run derby and did not warm up. So
he
he was
wasn't,
first 3 starts.
he wasn't ready.
And then we had one surprise guest, Alante Taylor's 184, Steve.
Who was
he plays
that?
for the New Orleans Saints. He's defensive back for the Saints. Couple bombs.
Oh,
Yeah.
That guy played
He
baseball.
finished in third.
Never heard of him.
Oh, damn.
That's a bomb.
He played at Tennessee. He had a couple
Did
bombs.
he play baseball?
No, he played defensive back.
He played
for the
baseball in
Saints.
high
He
school.
has played
I bet.
baseball at a
he's
high
definitely
level
played
somewhere.
baseball before, yeah.
There's no question about it. That's the guy that uses his lower half.
Yeah, that's a good
He has
swing.
a beautiful twist on the backside. He's got nice torque, good power. I like that guy.
Yeah,
I
he
like
was cool.
that guy a lot.
He was super competitive. He was pissed when he lost. Like, he was legitimately pissed off when he
So
lost.
how were the teams split up? Was it offense, defense? Was it just celebrities mixed in with the Browns on both sides?
Yeah, they had a couple professional softball players mixed in
really?
there too. The guy who you saw, Greg Newsome, not Newsome, you saw Martin Emerson be like, "Boo! It's just 1 home run."
Yeah.
that was a random guy who plays professional softball.
Did Bernie play? I saw he was there.
Bernie threw out the first pitch. He dropped back, threw it like a pass, almost a
Nice.
strike. It was pretty damn close. It was a very good first pitch.
Did he hike the right foot behind the left foot so he didn't get tripped up coming out of center like he used to do?
Earl, I don't 100%.
You remember how he used
that.
to, when he would get on
Yeah.
Mike Babb, he was so slow and Babb was so quick that when he put both feet even, before he could get his right foot back, Babb was hitting it. So he did this every time he would come under center. He was cockeyed.
Yeah.
And he had the right foot was already back.
That's exactly how his stance was when he thought the pitch.
Is it amazing that a quarterback that was less athletic than the center was actually good?
You're right.
It's amazing.
I mean, when you watched him, I remember hearing so much about him.
Yeah.
And I'd seen him play a little bit at Miami, not a ton.
Yeah.
I knew that he was a clutch guy that always seemed to make the big throw when he needed to. But I remember when I first started watching him in training camp before the first game.
Yeah.
I just remember looking at him going, this guy's never going to make it.
No,
never.
he looks
He
terrible.
threw sidearm.
Yeah.
It was the most ugly duckling style. There's
Yeah.
a funny piece on the NFL Films did about they interviewed coaches and quarterbacks about how ugly Bernie Kosar's style was.
Yeah.
And everybody, and it was Kelly, Marino,
Yeah.
all the greats at the time. And they all made fun of him, but they all said the same thing. Oh, if you watch him play, he's got the worst form of anybody I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But the guy gets it done.
But
and that was
smart
Bernie.
as hell.
So
He
as
was
someone who was
up
there,
here.
Earl, how would you rank the best softball celebrities that we saw on Saturday?
Well, first of all, Donovan Mitchell was cheating. He had no business playing. I mean, you got
It's just too good.
It's just too good to be out there with the rest of
Did
them.
he hit any home runs in the
He hit
game?
3 home runs in the
Every
game.
time he came up, except
Yeah.
for his last plate appearance, he homered. Every
Yeah, I
single
think he was
time.
3 for 3 with 3 homers, yeah.
He was 3 for 4.
Well, first 3 with 3 homers.
Yeah, so like McNuggets left. I watched his final at bat. Then I kind of snuck to the back to kind of get some Donovan Mitchell interview. But he popped out his very last at bat. But
Mitchell could have played baseball,
you know,
at a very high level.
Spider was very personable, man. Like between every inning, he was going to sign autographs for the fans.
Wow, I love that.
He spent a lot of time
good.
interacting with the fans and things like that. Surprised nobody gave him a hard time because he had on Mets gloves, but whatever. But I would say
no.
Spider first. Shout out to MJ. I thought MJ was great defensively. He didn't do too much with the bat. I thought that Greg Newsome did pretty good, and then the kid that plays for the New Orleans Saints, I thought he was pretty solid too.
All right, very
Yeah,
good.
and they had Emmanuel Forbes Jr., the first-round
Yeah.
pick for the Commanders this year, who was Emerson's teammate at Mississippi State.
Yeah.
Friend of
Also
the-
a phenomenal athlete.
Friend of the show, DJ Steph Loss, he was out there.
Steph Loss was
Yeah,
there.
Steph
Not a
Loss
good
was there.
softball player. Great
So-
DJ, not a good softball. And Steph's my boy. I saw him Saturday night too.
Anybody strike out?
Oh, there had to be.
Yeah.
It was
That's
some swings and
embarrassing.
misses.
I'm putting money Perry on Winfrey struck out.
No, Winfrey actually hit an inside the park homer on like a grounder to third base.
Wow.
Like a little league home run?
Yeah,
one of
it
those.
was the
Yeah.
reef home run, where it was a grounder that was an overthrow, that was an overthrow, that was
Did
an
you say
overthrow.
a reef home run?
From your game, Reef, when he hit his home
Yeah,
run.
but he hit that ball into the outfield, though, didn't he?
Well, yeah, it went like 50 feet though. That's not a knock on Reef. He's
Should have been. It was a legit double.
Okay, fair.
Yeah.
But whatever, it was not a hard hit ball that he had an inside the
Right,
park
right.
home run on. Yes.
Very good. Well, it looked like a lot
real
of fun.
Quick,
I hope they
last
raise some
thing,
money.
One last observation. Earl, I think you will confirm this. Everyone loves Perry on Winfrey. He may be a knucklehead off the field, and you know, he was like
fans and player, like
everyone that was there, all the players. He was like seemed like the most popular dude there. I'm not kidding.
Well,
Earl, did you get
I
that
have no
same
problem with that, but
I definitely got that same vibe. Just watching the body language, watching the interaction.
Yeah.
Cool dude.
They all sort of gravitate to him.
Just a cool, very cool dude. Very humble, very respectful. Doesn't come off like, you know, he's bigger than the next man because he plays in the NFL.
Good.
So
Good. I like to hear that.
That right there is.
What about the Juan Thornhill story?
We're going to
overtime.
play Juan Thornhill's 60 seconds this week, and we will tell the Juan Thornhill story when it gets there. But we'll give you a little tease. Juan Thornhill knows who we are, knows who Bull is.
He knows.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, didn't he retweet you?
Did.
In a bad